everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my ill partner, Jimmy Wisman.
I'm Jimmy
here.
Wisman.
There he is, yeah. He is under the weather today, folks,
boy.
which is, we apologize, but
It's
he's feeling good and
week.
sounding bad. Yeah. It's so that's all right. So it's okay. He's not dying
We'll
here
make it.
in my midst, but he definitely sounds like it. So
My
we will
Christ.
get to. I think you're going to hold up though. Here
I
through
hope
this.
so, yeah.
Yeah. He wants to hear about all sorts of disgusting things that Randall Woodfield is up to. This is part 3 of Randall Woodfield, the I-5 killer, and this is really when he starts to kick it up here. When we left off, he was starting to really get cooking, but now he's going to escalate everything. We'll get to that and more. First of all, though, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for Small Town Murder live shows in the fall. Get your merchandise as well for, Crime and Sports, Small Town Murder, your stupid opinions, whatever you want. We have everything on there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, definitely get yourself Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get anybody $5 a month or above. Not only do you going to get all the bonus material, like always, hundreds of back episodes, new ones every other week, one Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get all of it. But on top of all of that, you now get all 3 shows, Crime and Sports, Small Town Murder, Your Stupid Opinions, ad-free with your Patreon subscription, and it's still only $5.
Still $5. Yep.
What more could we do to earn $5, everybody? Come over to your house and, tuck your kids in. Like, what do you want from us? Mow your lawn?
We're giving you everything.
We're giving you all we have, damn it. So there you go. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show as well. So Jimmy will mess your name all up while he would love to get it correct. So do that, sign up, get your ad-free content, and get all your bonus material because there's so much of it there. You can binge your little butts off. So that said, let's just dive right back into Randall here because we're going to basically, I don't even know if we'll get out of 1981 in this episode because he is a busy cat in 1981. He's a weird kind of a killer because, there's the cool down period that serial killers always have. That's kind of part of the whole process is they do this and they have a cool down and then more stressors and whatever. But this guy just goes on binges. Like murder and rape is like drugs to him. It's weird. Like once he gets, he's like, oh, I'll just stay out all night doing it. Shit, I'll go get more. It's
He's like
so
a frat
strange.
boy with murder.
Yeah, he's never satiated.
No.
Like it's so weird. And no matter, it almost like if he gets into it, it's like it jacks him up for more. He's like a hurricane with like warm, moist air is just being fed into it. It's fucking crazy. So where we left off was in 1981. Law enforcement had just officially dubbed him the I-5 Bandit. Now they don't know it's him at this point, obviously, but they've dubbed this because he's doing robberies at this point, and as we found out, robberies and sexual assaults here. He's having women, he's forcing women to jerk him off at gunpoint and things like that, and show him their tits
in bathrooms of fast food joints.
Yeah, absolutely. So he had just also on January 8th, he held up the same gas station he robbed the month before, this time forcing the female attendant to expose herself after she emptied the cash register. I'll take everything in the register and a good look at your tits, sweetheart. That's what he said.
Good look at those.
This guy's a scumbag, man.
Yeah.
Like Eamon was fun. You know what I mean? Like Eamon, well, like as a guy, you'd want to hang out with Eamon for like an hour and then it would get out of hand. But like Eamon, you could see hanging out with for an hour and he'd be a good shit. He'd have crazy stories, Anybody fucked with you, he'd knock him out. He's a decent. Whereas this guy, I don't want to hang out with this fucking guy.
No,
I hate him.
He'll just rape every woman in your family.
It's just he's going to be like, you could go out to dinner with him.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, I'm going to go take a piss quick. And he's gone like 7 minutes. You're like, where the hell was he? He probably raped somebody on the way back from the bathroom. That would be totally within his wheelhouse of shit to do. So, yeah, he robs the Eddie's Arco in Vancouver at 9:18 p.m. That's the same one he robbed in December. That's on January 8th.
Came back.
So came back. The way this went here, he got less than $100 out of it, first of all. He said to her, sit down on the floor and take off your shirt and lift your bra.
Oh, boy.
Down on the floor and titties out. So she did what she was told. He just looked at her tits for a minute.
The spank bank material?
He took it in. Like his brain camera needs like a good 20 seconds of exposure before the click happens, and sit still. Now it's going to be blurry. God damn it, you moved. So she described it this way, that he was looking, quote, evilly looking at your tits. What a weirdo. Tits should make you joyous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should be like, oh, man, those are great. But I think part of that is having a woman show them to you voluntarily is also the thing. Where you're like, hey, that's great. I don't know if it would feel the same if you forced them to do it. I don't think it would be good. She said that he looked evilly. Then he said either okay or ugly. I'm not sure which, and I didn't care.
Yeah, I'm not.
It doesn't matter.
Either. Ugly.
Ugly. Okay. Whatever. Don't kill me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he told me to count to 50 slowly, and he left on foot. Mm-hmm. Now, the surveillance camera worked this time. Remember, it was broken last time, so they fixed it. And they actually capture him on film, and all you really see is a tall guy with kind of frizzy curly hair, fake beard. He had a hooded velour sweat jacket and blue jeans, and he has dark, like, ski gloves with light-colored stripes on the thumbs and fingers.
Okay.
So that's what they have at this point. So they have an image of him anyway, because at this point, they don't really, all they have is people's memories of what he looks like. So now they have this image, but this image isn't very helpful unless you see someone wearing that exact outfit. It's kind of tough.
Sure.
So then 3 days later, January 11th, 81, he robs a place in Eugene. The Grocery Cart Market was robbed at 7:27 p.m. by a fake bearded gunman who wore a Band-Aid over his nose, hooded jacket, blue jeans.
I know that guy.
I think I've heard of that guy. Sounds familiar. He had the ski gloves on, dark blue with white palms, somebody noticed. He asked for a pack of Vantage cigarettes, and then when they opened the Vantage he's smoking.
Yeah. Jesus.
Weren't those? Oh, no, never mind. Those are Virginia Slims. I was like, weren't those the lady cigarettes?
It's a cheap cigarette.
Yeah, Vantage. Those are like,
Jesus.
I remember, there's not as many. I don't think there's as many brands as there used to be. I wouldn't think.
It feels like there's fucking more.
Well, no, it's just Marlboro makes 800,000 different kinds of cigarettes. If you look at a cigarette section, it looks like there's a lot, but most of those are just Marlboros in different shapes, sizes, colors. It's fucking crazy.
They've got like 7 different strengths of normal.
Yeah. They have like 8 different sizes of cigarette you can get.
Yeah.
Like, just pick a standard size. Have those and hundreds.
They go
That's what we have.
Kings, 72s.
72s. They got 27s.
They have 27s?
Don't forget about those. They have 27s also.
How much of a cigarette is that?
I'll tell you. The 27s isn't about length. It's the blend.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so they have 27, 72s, and they have those black ones.
I have seen the 27s. So,
yes.
And then they have smooth.
And they have, it's crazy.
Light,
they have menthols,
mediums.
menthol lights, menthol smooths, menthol 72s, menthol 27s. Enough! Holy shit. You know what? I'll have a pack of Vantage, okay?
Yeah.
I give up. That's all I can. I don't know anymore.
Bad cigarettes.
They sound bad, yeah.
But they're made by the same company. They're made by Marlboro.
I'm sure it's all the same pile of shit in the middle that they're stuffing in there.
Sure.
Same pile of poison they're putting in. It doesn't matter at this point. So he asked for a pack of Vantage and all the money in the till. Take both of those, please.
Yeah.
He got $35. So, day-to-day operations, but not a lot of money. On January 12th, the next day. Okay, this is barely 24 hours later in Sutherland, I guess, Sutherlin, L-I-N, I mean. God damn it, I can't spell it. Sutherland. I went totally dyslexic on that. I couldn't get letters out.
You spelled the weirdest word. I don't know.
I was.
Did you spell Vantage?
I think I did. I think I spelled Vantage cigarettes. No, I was. If you don't know, I try to like look ahead at stuff in my notes, so I'm like stealing signals basically. Like I'm like a batter stealing signs. So once in a while, when I'm doing that, then I'm trying to read a word and I'm like reading it letter by letter, and I'm looking at other letters at the same time.
Clapping trash can lids together.
No shit, dude. This is interesting. Okay, so Sutherland, Oregon, which is 50 miles south on the I-5. Susie Bennett was 20 years old here that night working.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday night. She's a cook at the Central Market in Sutherland. She was alone and had been there for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
She works there. She's watching television on the set that's about 10 feet from the cash register when a tall man wearing a red knit hat and green windbreaker jacket walked in. So different outfit.
This is
now.
new. Yeah.
This is new.
He's been traded. You got a new team.
Hey, look at that. The Packers didn't want him anymore because he showed his dick to every fucking dairy cow in Wisconsin. So she said he had a dark complexion, and she said he had 2 Band-Aids across the bridge of his nose.
2 of them now.
2.
Doubling up.
He said, "Give me the money from the till." And she started to laugh.
Yeah.
She said he had like kind of a smirk on his face, so she thought he was fucking around. She thought he was kidding around. And she said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, what do you want?" Mm-hmm. And then she saw that he drew a revolver out of his pocket.
Uh-oh.
So he was like, "Uh-oh, this is real." Yeah. Nickel-plated with a short barrel. And he said, "This is a real gun." He says that to everybody. He's going to say that which is so strange, because if someone pulled a gun on me, I wouldn't be like, "That's not a real gun." That wouldn't be my fucking first response. I just assume it's real, probably.
I don't
right?
care if it's real or not, to be honest. This guy clearly means business.
He means business, and chances are it's probably real.
If it's not real, I don't get hurt. But if it is real, I get real hurt.
That's not a chance I'm willing to take.
I'm not. Yeah.
Like if you got really good at throwing knives, Jimmy, let's say you got real good at it. You worked on it for a while. I still wouldn't say, "I'm going to put an apple on my head and stand here. Why don't you go ahead and take that motherfucker off the top?" Just in case. Odds are I'll probably be okay. But
yeah, unless it's got an orange tip on that gun, I'm not charging him.
No, yeah, that's a different story.
That's a dead giveaway.
That'll teach you right there.
I don't think there's a single real manufactured bullet shooting gun that has an orange tip.
Also, if it's see-through, that's another dead giveaway right there.
Yeah, transparent.
Dead giveaway.
Those don't exist either.
Those don't exist. So he said, "This is a real gun." So Susie stood there for a moment and she didn't know what to do. She thought we were joking around a second ago. Now she's like, "Wait a second, what's happening?" So he got pissed off.
Yeah.
Not moving fast enough. So he reached across the counter and grabbed her by the shirt. Okay. He then let go and fired the gun.
Oh.
So she said she felt something hit her and bounce off, she thought. Mm-hmm. She didn't even realize she actually got shot. She didn't notice. She thought something, she didn't know what was going on. Maybe it was a pellet gun. She didn't understand. So she walked slowly around the counter to the cash register, and Randy's behind her pointing the gun. So she looks down and then she sees blood all over. She's like, "Holy fuck." So she was like, "What's going on?"
I've been shot.
And she was like, "I don't understand it." Because on TV you get shot, you fall down, and you're unconscious. So she didn't get how she was walking around.
Sure.
She thought if you got shot, you go, "Oh God," and you fall down. People don't realize that that's a learned response.
Not how it works.
So if you don't know you got shot, you don't do that.
You might feel something smack you. It's probably your wet clothes.
That's the other thing. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. So she's real confused. He said, "Now get down on the floor and stay there." Uh-huh. So she said, "No, I'll get the money for you." Like, I'm cooperating. Yeah. And he said, "Just stay on the floor." She heard him open the cash drawer, but she just stayed down there. She didn't look. She thought if she could hide behind the counter, maybe he wouldn't shoot her again. Mm-hmm. Then she heard him leave.
Okay.
There was $100 in the cash register that he took. She goes over to the phone. She calls an ambulance. They find her. They said she's been, pretty lucky. It's a through and through gunshot wound in the upper right shoulder. Exit is slightly higher in the back, so it didn't go down and clip any organs or anything like that.
It went up.
But you had a few inches lower, and that would have got her lung. That would have been another problem here. So the sergeant comes in here. Police sergeant didn't question her because she was bleeding out. So they were like, "Let's get her to the hospital." But later on, she describes the man as well. It's the same description of the same guy that everybody's been looking for. They were also able to retrieve the bullet.
Oh.
Because it bounced behind a shelf along the wall.
Okay.
And he got a single print from the back of a check in the till, because the guy had to lift the check to get to the cash beneath it, but just didn't take everything in there.
Brilliant.
But the print was useless because the gloves were made of cloth, and obviously. So they said, we have like a smudge on there, but it wasn't a fingerprint.
Yeah.
So they're like, fuck. Okay. This is, obviously he's got gloves, so this guy is not an out of control animal. Mm-hmm. He's a calculated
worse
monster. Yeah. Well, much scarier.
Much worse. Yeah.
An animal that's just like mentally deranged will fuck up at some point, and it's just out of the odds. But this guy is calculated, so this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Okay, January 14th, 1981. This is one of the worst things we've ever talked about on this show.
Okay.
Not on Small Town Murder, because that's a different show. No, we've talked about
some bad things there. Yeah.
We've talked about a 3-year-old getting put through a meat grinder on that show. So that's a totally different thing. But on Small Town Murder, we've talked about, or Crime and Sports, we've talked about some bad shit, but this might be the worst of it, I think, possibly. Okay. January 14th, 1981, Corvallis, Oregon. Okay. There are 2 little girls here. We'll call them Mary Sue and Megan for now. Yeah. That's fine. They're 10 and 8 years old.
Oh, boy.
They're left home alone for a 45-minute period.
Oh, boy.
Okay. You figure 10 and 8, the mother routinely does this. She goes to work out at a health club right after they eat.
Yeah.
They eat. She goes and works out for 45 minutes and comes home.
Okay.
Every night. So the girls know, when mom's going to do that, they sit, they do their homework or watch TV or whatever the fuck they're doing. They're just watching TV, and she's going to be back at 6:15. So it's not like it's like 9 o'clock at night either. So you figure it's safe. Okay. So they're left alone here, like we said. And she left the girls at about 5:30. She's going to be home at 6:15. But about 10 minutes after she leaves, the doorbell rings.
Okay. So
Mary Sue, the 10-year-old, went to answer the door. She flipped the porch light on, but it didn't work.
Oh.
She flipped it on to look, but it didn't come on.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay. She could see there was a big man standing there because it's January, so it gets dark early. Yeah. And he didn't know she didn't recognize the guy. It wasn't like a friend or a neighbor or something. So she said the guy had a brown suede jacket with a hood on it, blue jeans, blue and white ski gloves, and jogging shoes.
Yeah.
So she opened the door.
Oh, why would you?
Because it's 1981.
Yeah. Right.
So someone knocks. Yeah, the phone rings, you answer it. Someone knocks, you open the door.
Yeah.
Not like now where we go, hide, no matter what happens. If the phone rings and someone knocks.
Yeah. I just looked at my ring doorbell camera, and I see what's there. And if it's a dude in a black stocking cap and gloves, I'm probably not answering the door.
Well, I might say, what do you want?
Yeah.
But I would instruct a 10-year-old through the Ring doorbell. What do you want? Through the intercom. But
yeah.
But if you're a 10-year-old girl, I would advise her to not answer the door at all.
Yeah, don't answer that. Baby.
Hide.
Yeah.
Hide. So he just walks into the house, past her. He smiles real friendly, but just walks in. Like, hey, there you go, kiddo. You know what I mean? Like, and he said, my car broke down. I need to use the phone. Where is it? Not asking.
Just demanding.
Yeah, I'm using your phone. Where is it?
Hi, I'm here for your phone.
A 10-year-old girl, it's an adult that seems like they're in a hurry, and you're trained as a kid, just an adult like that, you just give them what they, the phone's that way.
Sure.
So she did. She just points toward the kitchen, and she didn't know, at 10, that's the other thing, she didn't know how to tell him to go. You don't say, get the fuck out of my house when you're 10. You don't know any better. You just think it's an adult. They probably know what they're doing,
Yeah.
Which is horrifying. So she said he dialed, but she thought that he was just dialing random numbers. It didn't look like the way he was doing it was weird, she thought.
Okay.
So he hung up the phone and said, the line's busy. Where's your mother? And she said, she's at the gym. She'll be back in a half hour.
Oh, shit.
Rather than literally about to pull in the driveway with her special forces fucking veteran husband who just got back from a mission. She just picked him up at the base.
And he's liquored up and pissed off.
Oh, he's real pissed. He's got PTSD from the last one, so I don't know what the fuck's going to go on this time. I mean, I'm terrified, honestly.
He beats us, and he loves us.
He just carries a machete in his teeth at all times, like just while we're watching TV. It's weird, dude. So instead, she just said that, and he said, can I watch TV with you? That's the response from the invader here. And she said, no. Good for you, kid.
Smart, yeah.
She said, you can call somebody, but then you have to go. We'll wait by the door until you're finished with the phone.
Okay.
So she's got some stranger danger reflexes.
She feels something. She's trusting her gut.
That's exactly right. By 10, I would assume you start to get a little bit of a gut there.
Yeah.
So she heard him dial, and she said she heard him talk to someone named Jim, but she said she wasn't sure there was really anyone on the other line.
Okay.
She said she'd seen bad guys on TV shows pretend to talk to someone on the phone before, and that's what it looked like, she said to her.
Right.
Which is fucking really, that's
astute.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's an observation that I don't think most 10-year-olds would make. So I'm actually very impressed there.
Yeah.
So she said he was telling Jim that his car had broken down, that he needed a ride, and Jim was supposed to pick him up by the Albertsons supermarket. So now the kid said she hadn't heard a car outside. Like he didn't break down in front of their house.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't understand at that point, why did he pick my house to come use the phone?
Right.
Where's he? I don't even see his car.
I don't see a car, therefore, what the fuck?
We just randomly walk and said, that's the house?
Yeah.
So anyway, he smiled at her again, and she said there was something about him, though, than their smile that didn't seem warm at all.
Didn't like it. Yeah.
It didn't seem like a smile, that like the feeling you'd normally get.
Mischief.
Yeah, and he said, can I stay in the house just to keep warm? I could watch TV with you until my friend gets here.
Okay.
And she said, no, I told you no, we're not supposed to let strangers in.
Smart move.
His response, but I'm already in.
Yep.
Like, so what's the difference now?
You're already in trouble.
So her sister then whispers to her that she's scared and runs down into the bedroom, into the mother's bedroom, the master.
Yeah.
And so the 10-year-old's alone with him now. And he says, I think I'll just watch some television with you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And she said, no, I told you couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulled a gun out on a 10-year-old girl. Dude, there's nothing.
That's crazy.
That a 10-year-old girl that you would need to do at gunpoint. There's just nothing. It's a 10-year-old girl. That's crazy. So he pulls that out, and he says this is a real gun.
Yeah.
Because a kid might say, is that a toy? Because a kid's seen toy. That's actually the first time it's legitimate to say
Is that by Galoob?
Yeah, is that a toy? Is that like a cap gun? I mean, kids see guns all the time that are fake. So he then said, this is a real gun. Go get into the bathroom where your sister's at and do what I say. So she did. And I mean, anybody would be terrified of this. Yeah. So she said she could barely walk, and he showed the gun to the 8-year-old too. And then, all right, everybody buckle up. Yeah. He says, now both of you take off your clothes.
Oh, geez.
A 10 and an 8-year-old. This isn't some voluptuous fucking church's chicken counter girl who's at least an adult or whatever. I mean, not that makes it any better, but this is a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
You're a tit man. You know what I mean? What are you doing, you scumbag? You're just you like inflicting fear. That's all it is. You're a piece of shit. What a fucking scumbag. So, wow. I don't even know what to say here. He fondled these kids.
Yeah.
He complained that they didn't have enough.
What?
Up top. I swear to God.
Children, man.
He complained to them about that.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. You could have broken into a different fucking house that doesn't have children in it. There you go. How about find an adult to fondle?
Don't make children be naked.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. He touched them all over the place.
Obviously, yeah.
He made them, Jesus Christ, man. He made them do things to him.
Obviously,
whatever you could think of that's not penetration, he made them do. And obviously they're scared and sobbing and had to do this. He actually got off on that.
Wow.
And I'm going to say they're 30 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear the grossest thing you've ever heard in your fucking life. Okay? Just right now. I'm going to give everybody a chance. You got 1,
I can't.
2, 3. No, you're stuck here. If I had to endure this, you're coming along too.
I want to time travel 30 seconds.
Nope. Oh, we got to do this because otherwise there's going to... Okay. He then forced the 10-year-old to swallow it. I don't know how much worse... If you said, what's the worst thing you could do? Yeah. What's the worst? What's the grossest thing a human being could do? What could make you want to punch someone in the fucking throat the most? I think that would be it, right?
That is fucked up. Yeah.
This poor kid is sobbing.
What does that do for him? Like,
That's what I mean.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I don't get it. I don't get forced anything at all because it doesn't make sense to me.
She already needs therapy now, and
God, therapy! You
just multiplied it by 50.
Oh, you just fucked up the next 30 years of relationships.
This woman's
for
so
her
fucked. Yeah,
you know where she's gonna have a hard time trusting people.
Trusting anybody.
I mean, you just screwed this kid's head up forever. Unfortunately, that's horrifying, dude. So, oh my God. So he's then pointing the gun at him still, like fucking with them. After a while, he told them they could get dressed, but they have to stay in the bathroom. And he told them if they came out, something bad would happen to them. So they sat there, huddled together, afraid he was still in the house. After about 10 minutes after 6, Mom came home.
Yeah.
And she got home to find their front door wide open in January.
Yeah.
So they're like, that's not on purpose. So she came in the house, freaked out. She walked in the kitchen, saw the phone off the hook.
Oh, boy.
She's having a stroke right now. I mean, can you imagine that? She tried to hang the phone back up again, but couldn't find it. She couldn't find the receiver.
Where's the spot where it lands?
So she called for the kids, and the 10-year-old answered from the bathroom, "Can we come out now?"
Oh, boy.
So she ran to the bathroom, and she said, the 10-year-old said, "There's a burglar in the house. I think he's still here." So this poor woman, she grabbed her fucking kids and ran next door. She scooped them and get the fuck out. She took off out the front door and called the cops, ran to a neighbor's house, punching on the door. Let me in.
And he was gone already.
He was, apparently. If not, then, she didn't see him. So, the kids, one good thing about this, not good thing about what happened here, but the kids have great memories, boy.
Yeah.
They got to really study the guy, and they really made good memories, which is not good, but she said they'd seen a San Francisco label on his blue jeans.
Oh.
They said he had white, there was white X's on the back. The girl said he had a funny beard. This is the 10-year-old. I don't think it was real. I don't think the gun was real either. I think it was a toy gun. He was going to shoot us, but he couldn't. So it was a real gun. This kid, lucky she didn't go, "Fuck you, that's not a real gun." Right. So, but I don't know what made him not shoot these kids, but he definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
He sat there for minutes, like pointing it at them and taking it away and pointing it. He was deciding what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that was in his mind. Like, I could just kill these 2 small children. That'll be fine. So that's wild. Now, the cops initially do not, this is in Corvallis, so it's not right by all the other things, but they initially don't connect this to the fast food robberies, because why would you?
Right.
It's a different MO. I mean, it's children. It's a house. It's not, the other one seemed like almost opportunistic, opportunistic sexual assaults where he was going to rob the place. That's the motive. Someone's there's some tits, whatever. So, but this is a different story. So they said that it's crazy because even sexual psychopaths a lot of times have some kind of moral outline, whatever it is for them. Everybody has their own little moral keyhole they see the world through, I think.
Yeah.
And even sexual, horrible people, most of the time, have something they wouldn't do. Well, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Something that doesn't interest them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to follow. And it's not necessarily that it doesn't turn them on, or it's that perhaps they don't know that they wouldn't do that yet. And maybe it's not that they would never do that. It's that they won't do that right now because this thing's working, or this thing is what they want.
That too, but a lot of times they'll set their own boundaries because in their mind that makes it okay.
Oh,
because I would never do this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, you remember on The Wire when Bubbles was doing his NA speech when he's at the meeting?
Yeah.
And he's talking, and the one girl gets up and she's like, I said I'd never do this, and then I did it. And then I said I'd never do this, and then I did it. And it's like, but you set your boundary for yourself. You're like, well, I won't blow 6 guys in a van. I'll do 5, but not 6. And then next thing you know, there's 6 guys in the van. She was saying,
and she didn't do 6, she did 7.
She did 7. But then she'd set a new boundary for herself, because everybody sets their own little weird boundaries of whatever they'll do.
Yeah.
You know, Ted Bundy was kind of he had a kind of a wavy line on his moral boundary. It was
his changed as time went on.
It would change as time went on too. Yeah, I mean, but a lot of guys, like, I don't think Jeffrey Dahmer would have been interested in an 8-year-old.
I don't think Jeffrey Dahmer would have been interested in a woman.
Well, I know he wouldn't have been interested in a woman, but that wasn't for moral reasons. Right. I don't think Randall Woodfield would say, take your balls out.
Yeah.
Now jerk me off if there was a guy there either. That's just more what you're into. But like, I don't think an 8-year-old boy would have interested Jeffrey Dahmer so much.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's not necessarily just, it's not necessarily something that doesn't turn them on. It's that the things that turn them on, they're not going to go too far with them, or gluttonous with them, or a certain line is scumbaggy, but up to that line is fine.
Exactly. There's a lot of rapists out there that in their whatever fucked up mind, it's perfectly fine to rape women. Right. But they're like, I would never touch a kid though. Right. You know what I mean? That's their line, even though what they're doing is morally
it's fucked. Completely.
You know.
Completely inept.
Explosive.
Yeah. You're still a scumbag.
Bereft of anything.
I hope you die still.
Fuck, man. I really definitely. This guy is he's a shit show from the fucking beginning here. So
that's the truth.
They say it's rare for men who usually attack adult females to attack children, and conversely, it's rare for pedophiles to attack adult women. Right. That's why adults are usually surprised by pedophiles, because they're nice people to them. They don't seem creepy
they don't want to hurt you. They don't want you to know what they do.
No interest
is what
in
it
you.
is. Yeah.
Yep. So it's strange. So this is like, they're thinking like this would be like a frenzy, like he can't control. Like he's in a bloodlust for anything at this point. I'll grab whatever I can. It's horrifying. So January 18th, 1981. It's only 4 days later. Yeah. Which, again, that's not any kind of cool-off period.
That's
crazy. There's no murder. Usually that's between murders, but
you
we'll
just
get to
raped
that.
2 children, and 4 days later you're back to crime?
You're back to doing shit. Yeah. And this is really where he steps up his shit here. Really? This is where somebody's going to die here. And that is a woman named Sherry Hull, and we'll talk about all of this here. This is pretty fucking horrifying. Okay, this is Jesus, early morning on January 18th, 1981. So it's really the night of the 17th.
Yeah.
It's I'm sorry. This is about 11:30 or about 9:30 p.m. on the 18th. Never mind. Okay. So people are 911 gets a call here, and so they answer. They tend to do that, and they hear they'll answer if you call them.
They rarely let that one go.
Yeah, there's never any like, I'm busy. I'm sorry.
Go to voicemail.
I'd be a terrible 911 operator.
Can you call back?
Like 2 days later, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I totally forgot what happened. I was doing something, and then man, I'm bad at that.
I'm still fucked up from yesterday's calls, to be honest.
Yeah, I had so many calls yesterday. I'm really sorry. I needed a break today. So they said, we've been shot. Please help us. That's what someone screams. We've been shot. Yeah. Which is interesting. They said, where are you? And they said, we are River Road or Commercial Street. Yeah. And they said, what address? And they said, near the Fun Machine. That sounds fun.
Okay.
It's a fun machine. What's in there? It's just fun. There? Who knows? Right. So the one guy that heard the call, one of the ambulance people, knew where that was. So they said, okay, and they say, let's go. If they're asking for an emergency trace, they get an operator say the call is coming from inside the Transamerica Title Building.
Okay.
So they asked the operator to patch the call to the Salem Police Department's communications center, And then they dispatch paramedics, and ambulances going there, and the cops are racing there. On the phone, the girl is saying, "Please hurry. He's going to come back and kill me. I think she's dead."
Oh, boy.
That's what they say. And they say, "Do you want me to stay on the line? An ambulance is on the way." And the other girl, they said, the girl on the other end of the line, the woman, they said her answers are, she's starting to be kind of drift off.
Less and less. Oh, boy.
And she just says, oh, I think she's dead.
Oh, God.
So they said, oh, shit, this isn't good at all. So the call gets handed over to the Salem police dispatcher, and they start in on it here. And they say, "Ma'am, what's your name?" And she says, "Beth Wilmot. I've been shot in the head. Hurry."
Oh, boy.
I would say, yeah, hurry. They said, "We have an ambulance on the way. Who shot you?" She said, "Some man, I don't know, with a gun."
Yeah.
Okay. They said, and the answer was okay. She said, "We were cleaning the office and he came in." And they said, "Okay, we have somebody on the way. Can you tell me what he looked like at all?" She said, "Oh my God, he had dark brown hair and he had a Band-Aid on his nose." And they said, "Okay, was he a white man?" And she said, "Yes." "How old did you say he is?" And she said, I don't know, around 27, which, I mean, he's 30, not bad.
Yeah, pretty good guess.
They said, "Okay, how tall?" And she said, 5'9", 6 foot, I don't know, something like that. 5'9", a little over the average size of, so, she's getting him a little shorter than he is, but that's hard to tell in a commotion. They said, "Do you remember what he was wearing?" And she said, a coat. And they said, "A coat?" And she said, "Yeah, a leather coat or something. A leather coat." And she said, "and a pair of cheap jeans." She noticed the quality of the denim, which is pretty impressive.
They're shitty jeans. He's wearing some fucking Jordache.
She's got some Wranglers on.
Yeah.
So watch out. So, and they go, "Okay," and jeans. And they said, "Okay, you stay on the phone with me. We have several people on the way." And she says, "I'll wait." Like she has a choice. She got shot in the head.
Yeah.
They said, "And we have an ambulance coming too." And they said, "Could I just give you a phone number?" Beth said, "Can I just give you a phone number so I could call home, please? Just call them."
Yeah.
I'll give you a number and you call and tell them what's going on. So the operator said, "I'd like to keep you on the line if I could until they arrive."
Yeah.
And she's saying, "Oh, my head, hurry, my head hurts." And they're like, "What the fuck?" And then there's a long pause, and then she says, "I hurt, I hear the ambulance." And then she says, "Poor Sherry is going to die."
Oh, Jesus.
And they said, "The lady who was shot?" And she said, "She's going to die. We didn't do anything." And they said, okay, the ambulance should be there. And the girl says, "Talk to me so you'll make me feel better, please."
Oh, boy.
This poor girl, man, I feel terrible for this lady. And she said, "Okay, I'll talk to you, Beth. How do you feel now? Any better?" And she said, "A little better." And they said, "Okay, you just calm down. There's going to be someone there, Yeah. And she said, "I should go home now, but I hurt." And they said, "Is there anybody else there with you?" And she said, "Yes, my girlfriend." "What's your girlfriend's name?" "Shari Hull." And they said, "Is she waiting for the ambulance to let them in?" And they said, "It's open. The door's open," Beth says. And they said, "Okay, which way did the man go when he left? What did you see?" And she said, "I don't know. My head was down. I was on the ground when he shot us.
Yeah.
He told us to put our heads down."
Oh, boy.
And then they're telling her, "Okay, they're going to be there soon." They say, "Is your friend there? Can I talk to her too?" And that's when she started crying, and she said, "I don't know what happened. She's on the ground. Please don't talk to her. She's, I think, almost dead."
God damn.
And they said, did he shoot her? And she said, "Yes." And she said, "He shot," and then Beth says, "He shot 5 times." And they said,
geez.
"He shot her as well?" And she said, yes, 3 times. I can hear her breathing really hard. I'm afraid he's going to come back. Please hurry." They said, okay, there's people coming. Did he leave in a vehicle or, a car? And she said, "I don't know. Her truck is running, though."
Yeah.
And they said, "Her truck is running?" And they said, "Yes." They said, "What kind of truck does she have?" "She has a Bronco, a green Bronco. We had it running because we were about to leave. They warmed it up."
Yep.
And that's when he saw them out there, probably. They said, "Okay, which room are you in there?" And she said, "It's just a little office." So then she said, Can you give me your home phone number in case we need that? So she gives the phone number, and she said, "Oh, somebody's here. The ambulance is there." And then the girl's so nice, she said bye-bye and hung up.
Oh.
She didn't even say, like, she didn't just hang up. She actually said bye-bye, which is very nice of her. So this is a lot. So the call goes out to the cops on this, and they're saying there's a robbery here and, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Giving them cross streets. They're trying to find it, and they said they're looking for suspect is a white male, 27, 5'9", brown hair, leather coat, jeans, Band-Aid on his nose, which is, and he's got a gun.
All right.
Eyes open, everybody out there. So, yeah, they're responding to this whole thing, and they said there's someone moving around the building. It was her, though. It was Beth in there. They said they saw a naked female in the main office portion. She was walking toward a smaller office located in the southwest corner of the building. Okay. And then they saw a second young woman lying on the floor in a prone position. She also was naked. Face turned away from view, but a spreading pool of blood behind her head. So he was just like watching this through a window. This guy is like, what the fuck kind of scene is going on here? So they tell the emergency personnel, like the firemen and the paramedics, the cops tell them, stay here. Yeah. We don't know if there's other people. So they draw their guns and go in there. They got to clear the place before they can. You could be sending these ambulance guys in there to get killed. So what the fuck? He enters. He just goes right in, doesn't wait for backup because these people are dying in there. So then he looks around, nobody there. The paramedics come in, and it's obviously a pretty crazy scene. There's a woman who's pretty clearly dead and another woman who has clearly been shot in the fucking head. So, and in shock, and she didn't realize she was even naked. She didn't even really covered her with a blanket. She's like, I don't have any clothes on. Like, she was like, what the fuck? She's all fucked up. She has a black eye, and the right side of her face was swollen and bruised, which is horrifying too. And she's got blood oozing from a spot near her right ear. Ooh. And the EMT says she's been shot in the head. That's a that's an entry wound. We got to get her to the hospital here. Now, Shari Hull is even in worse shape than that. She is completely unconscious, sustained 3 gunshot wounds to the head. Vital signs are almost too faint to be measured. Wow. And they were like, she's probably not going to be, this ain't going to work here, probably. But they did. They bagged her into the oxygen in her lungs and forced her to do that and took her to the ambulance, and she was rushed to the hospital. Somehow Beth, who was shot in the head, was coherent and talkative throughout the whole trip to the hospital. She was able to tell the deputy that she and her best friend Shari cleaned this building every Sunday. Okay. She said, we were almost finished. Shari went outside to her car, and I had a little cleaning left to do. I was just rounding a corner going toward the entrance when I saw Shari and this man walking toward me. He had a long-barreled gun in his right hand. This is a different gun now. Yeah. He took us to a room, and he told us to take off all of our clothes, that he wouldn't hurt us. Yeah. He made us lie down on the floor. We did that, and then he shot Shari in the head, and then he shot me. I pretended to be dead, and I could hear Shari moaning. Then I heard another shot, and I heard him, the man, leave. When I was pretty sure he was gone, I crawled to the phone in the office and called the fire department. Yeah. They said, have you ever seen this man before? She said, no. They said, did he molest or bother either of you? And then they asked, did he rape you? And she said, no, I never touched him, which is interesting. That's not true, though.
Really?
No. Even in this state, somehow she didn't want to tell what happened. She was embarrassed of what happened.
What's that about, do you think?
Yeah, that's also shock. She's in shock, too. Yeah. So I don't know if she realizes the importance of everything at this point, or if she's just an embarrassed young woman who's, you know what I mean?
That happens, yeah.
She's just embarrassed and, her brain is in shock and isn't in a state to be able to put those two things together that she needs to talk about it. So it's bad. She's in shock. She's angry. Her friend's dead or dying. She's very sad. Yeah. She's a mess right now. She said he was a white man in his mid-20s, 5'11" to 6 foot, slender build, dark brown hair, hooded black leather waist-length jacket, a Band-Aid on his nose. Yeah. She wasn't sure about the gun because she didn't know shit about guns. So the cop went to pull out his own service weapon for comparisons. Yeah. as soon as he pulled it out, she burst into tears and started freaking out, crying.
Do that.
Yeah. Don't whip out a gun in front of this fucking, even if you're a cop, it's not good.
Yeah.
So then he was like, oops, sorry, and put it back in his holster.
Whoops. Yeah, that was a big dumb idea. I'm so sorry.
My bad. So they said, will I be all right? Am I going to die? And the cop said, no, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. He doesn't know if she's going to be all right, but he's like, yeah. She kept saying, Shari, is she all right? Is she going to die? She was breathing so funny and moaning, and she wouldn't talk to me. Is Shari going to die? And they were just like, let's talk about something else. They just changed the subject, basically. They said that there was so much blood on the ground when they got there. There's no way she's going to make it, basically. So they said it didn't look good. And Shari ended up dying in the emergency room.
Yeah.
20 years old.
Good Lord.
That is fucked up. Wow. Now, this cop, Bernie Pappenfuss, that's his name. Mm-hmm. He was outside the emergency room waiting for Beth to be, examined and everything else here. And he said that when he was running to the Transamerica building or driving there, he rounded the corner of Broadway and Pine Street about 4 minutes after 10, and he heard the description of the suspect given by the dispatcher, the same description that Beth just said there. At the moment he turned the corner, he saw a man standing in a well-lit area only 10 feet from his patrol car.
Looking exactly like that?
No Band-Aid or any of that, but he said the man had stared back at him, just like I fucked him, as the cops call it the whole time, just fucking standing there. So he said it was one of the weirdest things, but he said that he saw it in his head, and he said the man wore jeans and a fleece jacket. But he said, thinking about it now, he has the impression the jacket was an inside out. That was a lining. That wasn't an outside of the jacket. It was the inside of the jacket.
Fuck. The fleece lined coat.
Yes. And he said it was one of those things where if he wasn't on his way to something, he would have probably stopped and said, just seeing what the guy was up to. But the fact that he was rushing to this scene where people might be held at gunpoint and shit like that, he just blew it off. And kept going.
Yeah, and nobody was talking about look for a dude in a fleece coat.
Nope. They said the corner had been 1.2 miles from the shooting scene. They said, he thought about it, and he said, someone would have to be like a professional athlete to be able to run such a short time, such a long distance in such a short time. They'd have to be really fat, like a Packers draft pick or something. Yeah, like drafted to the NFL. He said it was possible to cover a mile in that time if the runner was, like an athlete, basically, which you don't expect. How many criminals are athletes?
Very few.
On this show, all of them. But in real life,
one of them.
in real life, it's like 0.001% of them, compared to everybody else. So he said he had basically braked a little bit, braked the car here, and radioed for a better description. But then another deputy's voice cut in with a report that the gunman might still be in the building. So he was fuck it, it's not the guy. My guy's in the building. So he said instead he gunned it for the shooting scene, but at the hospital sitting there, now he's like, motherfucker, that guy was staring at me.
I should have asked him something.
He said, I remember his face. He said, I'll never forget his face because we stared at each other for the whole time turning the corner. So, but he said hindsight's 20/20. He figured everybody would need backup at the scene, and he wasn't going to be the guy not going there, so he could talk to some jackass who just had an inside-out jacket.
Right.
So he says, motherfucker, he said he knew he was positive. That's the guy that did it. I stared right in his fucking face, and I let him go.
God damn it.
So he's upset.
Yeah.
Now, there's Beth Wilmot is being treated. She's 20 years old, and, she's critical condition. She's got a fucking 32 in her slug in her head.
Sure.
The doctors pull out a flattened .32 caliber slug nestled in the matted hair at the back of her head.
Oh,
it didn't penetrate her skull.
Oh, what?
Didn't penetrate the skull somehow.
How badass was her hair helmet?
That's what I mean. I think she had like enough hair, it kind of made
Aquanet in there. Yeah.
Enough to keep it from penetrating the skull, which is pretty impressive. That's pretty good.
She should call whatever fucking hair product she uses and be like, I will do commercials for you.
Now she just sprays fucking Teflon and Kevlar on the back of her head. Like, there we go. It'll
make your head fucking bulletproof.
Wow. So they said the force from it would have really fucked her up, though.
Yeah.
They said the ammunition might have been old. That might have been
there's that. Yeah.
part of it, or it might have been fired from a gun of the wrong caliber.
Oh.
Remember, this is a long barrel.
Yeah.
Before he was firing that short barrel 32. So
sure.
They said, who knows? Or Beth could just be like Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Remember the episode where he decides to be a boxer because they say, oh, your skull's just twice as thick as most people's.
Yeah.
And some people, this is really good boxers, generally have an actual thicker skull density than normal people.
Really?
They can be hit harder and not get hurt as bad.
Wow.
So they said she might be one of those people. But then they said, oh, wait, no. They took an x-ray and said, there's a second bullet. And that one did penetrate the scalp in the back of her head, but not the skull again.
Wow.
This broad has a tough skull, man. Wow. It burrowed, it plowed a furrow beneath the skin on the right side of her head and had come to rest just in front of her ear.
Okay.
That's crazy. So she got shot twice in the head and didn't penetrate her skull. That's wild. So now they have two bullets, basically.
Yeah.
To look at the cops to go on as evidence. She denies that the gunman sexually attacked either her or Sherry when she gave the statement in the ambulance. But when she's being examined here, they use swabs to check everywhere.
Yeah.
Every orifice you have, they check it all. And the swabs they tell that there's some
positive for semen.
Yeah, there's, as they called it, male-ejaculate on the swab. On the swab from Beth's throat.
Oh my.
Yeah. So she basically said she would remember, later on, and she said she must have been blocking it out at the time. She wasn't lying.
Yeah.
She just didn't think of it at the time. So the main detective who's going to come in here is Detective Dave Kamenik. He does a lot to put this all together.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's going to send out the thing to neighboring states with MOs saying, give me similar MOs. Yeah. And he's the guy who's really going to try to put the pieces together here. So he had responded to a homicide scene earlier in the day and then had been summoned to this scene as well.
Okay. So
he processes the crime scene and he's going through everything here. And this guy's seems like a good cop. He's got a good sense of, maybe it's that, and it's got good instincts. You know what I'm saying? So he's married, got a couple kids, kind of a square, kind of a cat. He's from Nebraska.
That kind of,
yeah. That's all. He's 100% Czechoslovakian.
Yeah. Corn-fed Yep.
Yep. Air Force, went to Vietnam.
Czechoslovakian.
Czechoslovakian, corn-fed. Yeah. All those Czechoslovakians are corn-fed. We know that. So he got married real young, right out of high school, went to the Air Force and was on a flight crew in Vietnam.
Wow.
Where he said his job was balancing airplanes. Okay. So, he does all this. Now he has two kids.
Yeah.
So, he got a job at the sheriff's office because that's a place you could go and get benefits and a steady paycheck if you had two kids, basically. So, but now he got to be a detective, and he's very into that, and he seems to be a good detective. One guy describes him and says, Jim and I worked the same way, all out. That usually meant 36 to 48 hours at a stretch without sleep until we found our killer. Dang. You can always catch up on sleep, but you can't afford to give murderers the luxury of time.
I like that.
That's interesting. That's his partner there said that. Burns is his name here. So they worked together for a while, and they said he also is very much into, this Kamenik guy is smart because he's very much into any class he could take about blood pattern, about anything that he could get his hands on to make himself a better homicide detective. He's doing that. So, he does all this type of shit. So he's worked a lot of murder cases, and now he's dealing with this. So he comes back. He notified the office manager for the Transamerica building who came to the scene to view the office because they wanted to see if anything was missing.
Sure.
So nothing's missing. And so they're like, okay, theft is not the motivation here, obviously, for sure. Sherry's father said Sherry and Beth must have got there late. They had other buildings to clean this weekend. They should have finished with the Transamerica building well before 9, but they were dependable and they would have worked past midnight if they had to get it done.
Wow.
This guy feels terrible because it's his janitorial service that cleans this. His daughter worked for him.
Yeah.
So essentially he sent his daughter here.
Yikes.
Which, I mean, that's why they're in pairs, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You figure, oh, there's 2 of them. They'll be safer, but not really.
Not every time.
So, fuck, it's horrible. So they said, first it was just, try to make these girls survive, basically. So now they have to actually try to put together a crime scene, though. That's the thing. If you walk in and everybody's dead as a fucking doornail,
yeah,
and dead,
that's tough.
Well, for a crime scene, that's the best case scenario
Is
for
it?
you. If you're a homicide detective, you would much rather walk in and find a stiff corpse than walk in and find somebody fighting for life than is taken to the hospital and dies there, because that everyone, while they try to save this person, is going to destroy your crime scene. Fucking
I see what
destroy
you're
it.
saying. Yeah.
Footprints, fingerprints, fucking
all the
blood
life-saving
smears,
equipment all over the place.
That's all over them, so that they lose a lot of evidence on the body. I mean, that destroys everything. They want to walk in and go, that motherfucker's dead as shit.
Nothing we can do for him.
Chalk him off, and everybody chill the fuck out till
that body.
No, then at that point, the homicide detectives process the crime scene.
Right,
then when
right.
they're done, then you take the body.
Right, but then you get to process the body rather than
everything
having
at your own
everybody,
pace.
Yeah, right. Rather than having all these people smudge all their own DNA all over that body as they try to save the life. Right,
all over everything. Absolutely. So, so they go over everything. Now, the red Ford Bronco, she described it as green for some reason, even though it was red, and she drove there in it. Probably because she had a bullet in her fucking head. But that was still parked. That was still parked outside the building. Keys in the ignition, engine running when all the emergency services got there.
Okay.
They found 2 women's purses inside. Near the rear window. And the rear window rolled down, showing cleaning equipment back there. They said the lunchroom where the attack had taken place was at the end of a short hall leading from the front door of the Transamerica building. The floor of the room had clothes and shit all over the place from the fire department and the medics. 2 big pools of blood, kind of drying up, basically, like that. Small size clothing lay where the garments had been dropped at the gunman's order. 2 pairs of blue jeans, a brown and white sweater, a blue and white sweatshirt, a pair of lavender underwear, a pair of pink and green, a pair of green and pink bikini panties, and size 32D bra. Jesus, that's a small woman with giant boobs. Jesus Christ. And small, 32 is tiny.
Yeah, and small clothing, too.
Yeah. Heavily blood-stained. A woman's white imitation sheepskin jacket, a woman's brown leather jacket, a brown pair of shoes, their laces still tied, a pair of blue and yellow running shoes, laces still tied. All the clothing, this is Sherry and Beth's clothes. He didn't leave anything behind, the gunman here. A ring of keys was on the middle of the carpet, but when the detective tried them in the building's front door, they were only keys to the building. He was hoping this was the killer's keys that he left behind, but they're not. There were bullets, 1 .32 caliber slug caught in the folds of the white coat. A second similar bullet nestled on the carpet where the rug abutted the sink counter. The path of the second bullet could be traced. There was an indentation in the cabinet door below the sink, and the strands of Sherry Hull's brown hair were embedded in the spot where the bullet had struck the door and ricocheted. That's fucking crazy. That's gross. There was a hole 5 inches below the indentation in the cabinet door. Inside the cabinet, a plastic cleanser can showed damage where a bullet had bounced off. Blood had sprayed on the walls and the carpet. There were smears of blood on the phone, obviously, that she used to call for help. They noted white viscous material, which just unfortunately had seeped into the carpet, and they said that unfortunately it turned out not to be semen. They were hoping it was semen, so they at least get a blood
Probably
type or something.
Foam or something.
Some kind of, probably maybe one of their cleaning supplies.
Or that,
so the clothes get bagged and labeled, and the bullets and all that kind of shit. They vacuum everything up to get everything they can, hairs, whatever debris had been left. Luckily, they had just vacuumed, so the floor was clean. So anything on the floor is going to be
crime scene
from them, which is helpful here. So this is a lot to process and everything like that. They said that if she could not identify some suspect they came up with, if his semen maybe would come from a guy who was not like 85% of the population, a secretor, where you could tell their blood type and their bodily fluids.
Yeah.
15% of the population or so, you can't tell their blood type and their bodily fluids.
Okay.
So they said, we might never fucking solve this.
Wow.
Like, he's like a ghost, this guy, and his description is kind of so vague that a different outfit, this guy blends right in. No one will ever know.
Yeah, if he ever changes clothes, we're fucked.
Yeah. So they did the postmortem on Sherry, and her skull had been fractured on the right side. Bullets had went into the left side of her neck and the right side of her skull, 3 inches above her right ear and in the back of her head. A fourth wound appeared to be an exit wound, which, as Beth said, 3 times for Sherry, twice for her. Fragments had entered the right temple area and virtually obliterated the center of the brain. Her hair was blackened with the debris of the gun barrel, a barrel held so close to her head that the killer, couldn't have missed. It was one of those. Right. They said the gunman fired at point-blank range into the back and right side of these girls' heads, or Sherry's head especially. There's no defensive wounds on her hands. So the detective, Kamenik here, he said, wow, I can't believe that this is the exact bullet that Beth took and didn't penetrate her skull, whereas these just destroyed this poor girl's head. So that's wild. Beth gets better. She recovers.
Wow.
Which is pretty fucking amazing.
Fuck, she's tough.
She's a tough one here. Now, and the cops, they have no leads, basically. Nothing at all.
Wow.
They had one tiny, tiny piece of evidence here. Okay. They said their smallest thing. At the time, it didn't seem like it would be particularly a big deal. They found one coarse, almost black pubic hair on the rug of the lunchroom. It didn't match either of the girls.
That's positive.
In a class and characteristics, comparison. It might have come from the killer. It was of a Caucasian origin.
Okay.
But the blood type classification, hair is the only probable physical evidence. It's not real absolute. So what the fuck do we do here? That's a comparison of that's similar. That's all you can say. So they said it was not likely known that the unknown pubic hair, they said it probably wasn't, from one of the cops. They didn't have their dicks out while they were there for the most part. So they can eliminate them. But they contact all the paramedics and all the police personnel and ask them to submit a sample of their pubic hair just to make sure it's not one of theirs. It fell down and went down their pant leg and came out. Who knows?
Were you going commando around here?
How much? Yeah. Who here?
Are you shedding?
Who here wears loose-legged boxers? Anybody? Because that's what we need to talk about.
Or any underwear at all. If you're not wearing nothing, then we need to talk to you.
Fuck. So he said, I went to the fire station, this is Kamenik, and handed everyone a comb and a small plastic bag. They looked at me at first as if I was nuts and asked if I'd given up police work to become a fuller brush man giving away full samples, free samples. None of the hairs matched this pube, though. So
that's good.
They have this is probably perpetrator pube right here.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, now Dave Kamenik has to get a full in-depth statement from Beth because she's a living victim here. So this is going to help. So he's trying to, do this. She's recovering in the hospital. She's under heavy guard, so no one tries to come kill her because she's a good witness. Yeah. So he meets her for the first time. They sit down and talk about all this, and she explains here that she known Sherry for a long time. They'd been best friends. She moved to Salem from Spokane, and her family took her in and, treated her like one of the family and all that kind of thing. She said she'd been doing work for Sherry's father's janitorial service. This was their normal Sunday night assignment, the Transamerica building. It usually didn't take them very long because the building was basically kept very clean and it's pretty new. So they just do a quick vacuum and that was pretty much it.
And get out.
Hit the toilets and you're done.
There it is.
So she said how she and Sherry had come to be in the building. They said that was easy to get through. And then she started to, having a hard time talking about it. So he's telling her, tell me what you can remember. Take your time. And she said, we went out there about 9:10 or 9:15, and we were all done cleaning in about 20 minutes. But then I noticed that a window was dirty, and I went to the back room to get a spray bottle.
Oh, boy.
Because she's conscientious, this happened.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's interesting. She said the man must have saw us cleaning alone because Sherry went to empty the garbage alone. She did that without telling me. We usually empty it together. I got done vacuuming and she got done cleaning and emptying the garbage. I went to the back room to get the spray bottle. She was near the door or something. When I got to her, he was pointing the gun at both of us. I guess he just walked in. So Beth then said, he killed my best friend. And they said, well, tell me what he said. Tell me what you and Sherry said. Just tell me everything that happened. So she said, okay, the only place in the whole building blocked off from the view of anyone in the parking lot was the lunchroom. And that was the room where he herded them. So he must have studied it from outside. He looked. He said, in the back room, both of you take off your clothes. Strip, all of them. Get down and stay down. That's what he said. Wow. He told Sherry to take it all off, and I said, my dad will be here pretty soon. It was a lie. It wasn't her dad wasn't coming, but she was trying. You know what I mean? She said she knew that no one was going to come, but maybe he'd go, oh, fuck, all right, there's a guy coming. I don't want to be here. But he didn't buy it anyway. He was like, yeah, right. Sure. Why would your dad come to your job at fucking 10 o'clock at night?
I'll be faster anyway.
Yeah. Sherry was hesitating, quoted by Beth here. Sherry was hesitating. She didn't want to take her bra off. He said, come on now, take it all off. He made us kneel on the floor, and he was standing up. Mm-hmm. So Beth then asked the detective, do I have to tell you everything he did to us? And he said, just repeat what he said. Just repeat his words. And in that way, So she explained that he unzipped his jeans and exposed himself, and that he demanded that the girls give him a blowjob. And he said, what did he say to you? Remember, what you tell me will be his words, not yours. Right. So she said, okay. He was talking to Sherry, and he said, suck on me. Come on, make me come. Oh, boy. And then he said to me, you suck my balls. Uh-huh. He told both of us, you make me come. Both of you suck on me. Please don't isolate that. He told Sherry, play with yourself. Oh, boy. She said no, and then he told me to suck on Sherry's breast. I did it, but I faked it. Uh-huh. He's like, put on a scene for me here.
Yeah,
I want to see a little
and go.
Fucking chick-on-chick action.
Go
to the fucking... It's 81. You can buy porns by now.
The VMAs are coming up. You guys need to... You're up for new category.
Ugh. He told me to stand up and spread my legs apart so he could have intercourse with me. His penis wouldn't go in, and he said, quote, shit, you've got a tight cunt.
Oh, my God.
He's a real charmer, this one.
Truly. He knows what all the girls want to hear.
Oh, my God. This is fucking horrifying. So she said that they said, how long was this going on? And she said it seemed like 20 minutes. But 20 minutes, it seemed like hours, but I think it was about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So Beth said that Sherry had reacted she started freaking out. She's crying uncontrollably as he's giving orders. That made him pissed off.
Yeah.
So then she said he changed for the worse when Sherry started freaking out. He yelled at them, quote, eat me. Which one of you wants to eat me?
What?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
He made Sherry go first and then me and then both of us at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Beth turned her face away at this point and said, he came finally. We thought he was done with us. He told us to lie down on the ground, face down on the floor. He was asking us for rope. He said, I need some rope. Do you guys have any rope? Do you know where any is? It's a fucking office. Who has rope in an office? Yeah, this is an office.
CEO's office.
Yeah, possibly.
For if the tax...
It's like
if it all tax.
This office houses an international kidnapping ring, as a matter of fact. You're in luck. We got all sorts of shit.
In case the CEO's stock prices tank, there's a rope already tied into a noose in his office.
He's got it. He's going to... He gets slung over the highest beam in his office. So we just both said no, she says. And then Shari said, don't hurt us. Please don't hurt us. We won't tell anyone. Just let us go. She was crying and begging and saying, please, please don't hurt us. We won't tell anyone. Beth said she wanted to tell Shari to be quiet and that her crying and screaming were making him angrier. She said, I could sense he was getting more kind of agitated by all this. But she didn't want to say anything out loud. She said he was quiet for about 5 seconds standing over us. We could hear him breathing, and it was like he was trying to decide. And so the cop says, and then what happened? And she said, then a shot goes off. And I think that he shot Shari first, and then he shot me, and then he shot Shari again, and then me, and then a final shot to Shari. So he went back and forth.
Good Lord.
Sounds like he had a 5-shot pistol and went back and forth. So after the first shot, I just lay still as I could and pretended to be dead. Shari kept moaning, and maybe that's why he shot her the last time. I was praying and hoping that she was pretending to be dead too. After he shot me the second time, I couldn't hear anything but ringing in my ears. I was afraid to get up because I couldn't hear if he was there or not. After about 5 minutes, I got up and I could walk, and I went to the restroom and I looked in the mirror. There was something wrong with the whole right side of my face. It was all swollen out and there was blood. I was so frightened I thought he might be outside watching me, so I got down on my hands and knees and crawled to one of the phones in the office. I pushed a button and called the operator. This is horrifying. She said Shari was dying then, and I'm half scared to death, afraid I'm going to die too, and that he's going to come back and shoot me again. Then I could see the ambulance lights and the police driving up, and I ran to Shari and I said, Shari, talk to me. Only Shari couldn't say anything. It was too late. So, wow. Then she said, do you know what my last words were to Shari? My very last words. I said, oh, shit, Shari, we forgot to clean the door. Her last words to me were, oh, shit, then let's do them. That's fucking sorry. That's awful, man. So that's interesting. And they both said the same thing. She said, if we just left a few smudges on the fucking door,
we would have been fine.
We would have been fine, but we were very anxious to do a good job, basically. We wanted to do a good job. So that's horrifying, man. Wow. On January 19th, 1981, the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, you'd think after that, you got a big cool down coming.
You just think you killed 2 people.
No shit. The next day, he fucking robs a Vancouver skating rink. Well,
Really? How much money can you get out of that?
Apparently a bit. The rink office was deserted except for a female cashier, 17, and 3 boys, 10 and 11 years old, one of whom had come to the rink that night to celebrate his birthday.
Yeah.
He held out a silver gun, demanded the money, and left after warning the cashier and the boys not to watch where he was going. So that was just for money.
Yeah.
Because he got no money from the Beth and Shari.
Right.
So, man, this is fucking horrifying. If it couldn't get worse for poor Beth here, this poor Beth, man. Jesus Christ. She's 20 years old, for fuck's sake. She has worked as a cashier at the Giant Artichoke restaurant and a hostess and busgirl at the Apple Tree restaurant. Not Applebee, Apple Tree.
Eesh.
She had a semester of typing and 2 years of home economics under her belt. She's 5'5", 115 pounds, and she never learned to drive.
Yikes.
Man. She said of the 3 personal references she would give on like a job application, one is Sherry Hull, and she's dead, and everyone else is out of state. She's like, I don't even know anybody at this point here. She was staying with Sherry's family. So Kamenik and his wife Gail basically
adopted her.
Pretty
Wow.
much. Like, you can come to our house and hang out. Like, come to Thanksgiving where I am. Yeah. Wow. At this point, she discovered as if this guy didn't do enough to her to give her not only physical, but emotional trauma and everything else, he also gave her herpes.
Oh, Christ.
So this fucking girl can't win, man. That's horrifying. So anyway, Dave Kamenik sends out a bunch of bulletins trying to get information.
Yeah.
they have a composite kit. Basically, they do a hypnosis with Beth to try to get a little
More
better of a
information.
description
Yeah,
from her.
yeah.
And but it's not bad too. When you see the actual drawing, you're like, that's him with the
Pretty good.
Band-Aid on his nose and a hood on. I mean, yeah, it's not bad. So they send out, a thing here to everybody. They say that he's got a ruddy complexion, 5'10" to 6 foot, 140 to 160. So they're underestimating his size a little bit. Collar length hair. They describe his clothes and everything like that. They don't have a car description at all or anything, but they say dark blue revolver with a 4 to 6 inch barrel, 32 caliber. So they said after that, though, they got deluged with reports of young women being attacked.
Sure.
Unsolved assault cases coming in to him. It's a lot. And in the beginning of February, they're like, I think it's one fucking guy doing all of this shit.
Feels like it, yeah.
They get calls from California, from everywhere. They're like, it's just too similar.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous here. So they said now he's the I-5 killer at this point.
Wow.
So the other cop that's going to be working this, or not other cop, the other district attorney, who's the new district attorney for Marion County, Oregon, who Kamenek is working with here, is named Chris Van Dyke.
Yeah.
He is Dick Van Dyke's son.
Get the fuck out of here.
God, I swear to God.
Unbelievable.
Actually,
Dick Van Dyke's son is about
Dick
to be
Van
a hero.
Dyke's son. Dick Van Dyke's got, and he looks just like him too. Everybody.
Wow.
That's the funny part too. Imagine being sent. Imagine a guy doing like a shuffle and like doing a chimney with a penguin walk, and then getting you sent to prison for the rest of your life, and then penguin walking away from that shit and tripping over the ottoman. Imagine that. How great would that
With that
be?
bizarre nose.
Oh man,
Giant
that's funny
fucking
as fuck.
chin. God, he was amazing.
That is so fucking
he's dead,
funny.
right? I don't want to kill
Dick Van
somebody
Dyke's.
again.
If he died, he just died.
Yeah, I think he died, and I think he was in Arizona at the time.
But he was like 101 or something.
He was 99. The
99,
man is
yeah.
still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. I was going to say, if he died, he just
Holy
died. Because
shit.
I think I heard him doing something
Wow.
recently. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot
Yeah,
here.
definitely still alive. That's amazing.
So now we got Kamenek and we got Chris Van Dyke working together.
Wow.
Here. And to try to figure this out. Now, Van Dyke agreed that Beth Wilmot might remember more if they were to do some hypnosis, so they agreed to do some hypnosis.
Okay.
They told her to pick a place where she felt safe and happy and picture herself there.
Okay.
She chose, this must have been a really good guy, she chose the room of a boyfriend whom she cared about.
Wow, that guy really is tender.
She felt safe with that guy,
Yeah.
she said. Wow. So they kept telling her, listen, this is just a way to try to not freak her out. Sure. Everything you're viewing is like it's happening on a television set. Okay. You're not in danger. Yeah. So even though you're going to be there, you're not actually in danger. You're just on a TV set. You can look in closer. You can pull back away from it. Yeah. It's all a TV set. So they said, while you're in this very comfortable place, you just really feel good. You can hear everything that's going on, and you just want to remain like you are.
Yeah.
You're very, very relaxed, very comfortable. I want you to just think now, imagine that you're at the top of the stairs. The stairway's about 10 steps, real gradual steps, and I want you to imagine that you're going down. Each step you take is further down into relaxation. That's how this guy does his fucking...
Oh, wow.
Found that interesting here. So they said, you remember that you're not really there. You can watch this. You're watching it on TV. And she said, yes. They said, okay, you and Sherry are going to get gas. Now you're going to have to go to work. You can see that Sherry has to take a shower. Now you're getting ready to go to work because Sherry took a shower, then they went out to work. They said, is it just you and Sherry and you go to work and, all of that? And they talk about everything. They say, now this man is going to enter. You can see this on the TV. He comes through the door. You can see him coming through the door. He's got a gun in his hand. I want you to watch him. I want you to concentrate on what he's wearing. And they say, I can see his hair. They say, or I can't see his hair. They say, did he have a hood on, a hat on? She said, a hood. He kept his hood on the whole time. Yes, a sweatshirt or a jacket hood. So it's working. They're getting something. They bring in a sketch guy to draw what she is saying, essentially. They said, how long do you think he was there? And she said, a half hour. Or no, I'm sorry. When they're done with the hypnosis, they said, "How long do you think you were there?" And she said a half hour, and it was an hour and a half actually.
Yeah.
She was like, "Wow, that's fucking weird." So she, does all of that. They have a better sketch now, and she tells Kamena, "Catch him. If you catch him, I'll know him. I'll never ever forget that face." And she also offers to go back to the Transamerica building with them.
Oh.
To see if that, so they do. They drive her down there, which is brave of her to do. You'd think she'd never want to go there again.
I quit Peter Piper Pizza the next day after I was robbed at gunpoint. They asked me to go fold pizza boxes. Nobody raped me back there. Nobody shot me back there. But I still was like, I'm not going back there. Yeah.
You didn't have to watch your friend bleed out after someone tried to rape you and blew a load in your mouth? That would have been worse, right?
I still was like, I'm not going back there. They're like, you're going back there. I'm like, oh, I quit. I'm going home.
Yeah, bye. Not doing it. So she went back and she said, though, he couldn't figure it out.
Wow.
And got no more information. So on January 26th and January 29th, in Southern Oregon, he commits more fucking robberies in Eugene, Medford, and Grants Pass.
Yeah. And
in Grants Pass, two females, a clerk and a customer, were both assaulted by the robber as well.
Okay.
This is crazy. On January 29th, there was a 29-year-old clerk working alone in a Winchell's donut shop in Grants Pass, Oregon. Okay. And he robbed the shop of $70, fondled the clerk and the teenage customer.
Okay.
Then an hour later, he held up the Richards Market in Medford, 35 miles away, using the same silver revolver. Band-Aid on the nose, same guy. At first, if you're going to do the Band-Aid thing once, it's good. But once you do it all the time, now they just link you to everything with it.
Right.
Now it's a hindrance at this point. Now it's just linking you. So February 3rd, 1981. Okay, this is crazy. We'll start with Steve Eckerd. Steve Eckerd is a Redding, California firefighter who is on a 24-hour shift at this point. Okay. Now, his wife, Donna Lee Eckerd, works as a registered nurse at Mercy Hospital on the day shift. Steve works nights a lot of times with the fire department. They don't see each other a lot. They have a couple of kids, all that kind of thing. So Steve talked to his wife at about 3:30 in the afternoon. Donna Lee went to a doctor's appointment. She had a minor surgical procedure that day, so she told her husband that she was going to lay down for a little while. Didn't feel too good.
Yeah.
So she has a 12-year-old, Kristen, who is her daughter from a first marriage.
Sure.
She stays late at school to watch a basketball game. She calls Donna Lee at about 6 p.m. to ask permission to go to her friend's house. She said her mom sounded sleepy, like she just woke up from a nap, which she did, and she told her daughter that it's fine to visit your friend, just be home by 9. Okay.
Oh, boy.
So this girl, the 12-year-old Kristen, she gets home at 9. It's actually about 8 minutes to 9 when she gets in. As a kid, you know the exact moment you walk in.
Yeah.
I got home at 8:54, I swear.
I'm early.
You know it. So she got in. She called out to her mother and her sister as well. She's got a sister there, but no one answered. So she walked through the house and still calling to her little sister Janelle and to her mom, Donna Lee. She got to her parents' bedroom and opened the door.
Oh, boy.
And this girl's 12, mind you, that she has to walk in and see this. She sees her mother and sister in there lying side by side on the bed.
God.
Donna Lee on her back wearing only a nightgown that had been pulled down, exposing her breasts. Her glasses are still in place. Her ankles are crossed and bound with white surgical tape.
Oh, boy.
Her arms have been twisted beneath her, and her wrists are bound with the same tape. And a big swath of tape covers her mouth and nose.
Okay.
Now the daughter, it's Kristen's older sister, 14-year-old Janelle, is completely nude with her face covered in blood.
Oh, boy.
So the 12-year-old is like, what the fuck? She sees that her sister looks dead.
Yeah.
She said, oh, my God, my sister's dead, but I think mom's still alive. So she pulls the tape off her face, and she's trying to get her to talk, and she's shaking her and everything else. Yeah. Mom doesn't respond, so she goes, holy fuck, I think they might both be dead. Yeah. But she knew that in an emergency, you never know, because she heard from her stepdad here about, or her dad, whatever, about who's a firefighter. If someone drowns or falls in the pool, you might be able to revive them even if they look dead.
Yeah.
So she said, I got to call for medical help here. Yeah. So she gets on the phone. My mother, my sister, send help quickly. Holiday Road, the Eckards. This is 9:01. The call comes in. So she probably put her stuff down, walked around, looked in the fridge, and then found. That's horrifying, man. So the sheriff's patrol responds to the call along with officers, and the personnel at Mercy Hospital is called, and they call the Mountain Gate Fire Station to ask the technicians to respond. And one of the people one of the responders is Steve Eckert.
Really?
Yes.
You can't respond to that.
Yep, he heard that, and he was like, holy fuck, he heard his address and was like, uh-oh. So he did. He got in the car with everybody, with the captain and the chief, and they raced to the home, and it's not far. It's a small town. It's Mountain Gate. It's very small. They arrive here in 5 minutes. 2 minutes later, the sheriffs pulled up. They could see Steve was comforting the 12-year-old in the living room. Yeah. And Steve Eckert was, and the other people were with the two bodies in the upstairs bedroom. Steve told them that he saw the bodies, and it is his wife and his stepdaughter.
God dang.
His elder stepdaughter. So they could see what appeared to be a bullet wound in the 14-year-old Janelle's neck and the tape bonds on her mother. So they secured the scene and all that. They said the murders were very cold, execution style. Yeah. They said that Donna had been shot possibly twice. Janelle suffered many wounds, at least a half a dozen, all in the back of her head. Wow. And they're like, what the fuck? This is a cult at the end of a cul-de-sac, little neighborhood. Makes no sense. So this is uncomfortable, but the detectives all kind of huddle up and they go, we got to ask where Steve was.
Yeah.
First person we got to ask is where the husband was when we see this. So they do that, and they go over and they ask his chief, where the hell's he been for the last 3-4 hours? And they said, with us, sitting around waiting for a fire.
Right.
So they were like, okay, he's cleared at least. So now he can, he's not a suspect now.
Sure.
So the 12-year-old said she talked to her mother at 6 and everything was all good. They said, did she say anything about what she planned to do? So she said, only thing I heard was she said she had to go down to Jake's Market to get a couple of things. And this Jake's Market is right off the I-5. Okay. Right off the I-5 freeway at the end of the street where they live. Yeah. People come to this area, like there's a lake near here, Lake Shasta. So they come to this area, they stop here for supplies, basically.
Right.
Now, in the house, Janelle, the 14-year-old, her jeans are on the floor next to the bed. And inside the jeans, they pull out a check from the back pocket. It's dated today's date, February 3rd, made out to Jake's.
Okay.
Signed by Donna Eckert. So they're like, okay, they fully intended to go to the store, but this check did not get given to Jake. So what the fuck's going on? So they're trying to figure that out. And what they put together is they left their home to make a trip down to Jake's to purchase breakfast stuff. Donna threw a coat on over her nightgown and just wanted Janelle to run in. The coat was in the bedroom, thrown over the end of the bed. They said Janelle should have taken the check and gone in to buy bread, milk, and cereal. So they checked down at Jake's, and they said that the girls had never been in to shop that evening. So they never made it into the store. They left the house, but not made it all the way to the store, which is down the street.
Yeah.
So did they go outside and somebody was out there? That's all we could think of. So the bodies were nude and half nude. Obviously, the teenager's nude and the mom is half nude. So Steve checks through the house and noticed that all the things that a burglar would take, stereos, TV sets, jewelry, and boxes, all that shit is all still there. Okay. The only thing that has been taken is his handgun.
And 2 lives.
But only items. Yeah. 38 Special Model 60 Smith & Wesson.
Okay.
He said it was a unique gun with a stainless steel 3-inch barrel and walnut grips. Mm-hmm. He gave them the serial number and all of that. Now, the autopsies come in, and Donna Lee and Janelle had both been shot in the head. 7 bullets pulled out of the teenage girl.
Holy shit.
7. 2 for mom. Unbelievable. They'd come from a .32 caliber handgun, just like all the others. Wow. This is, by the way, 400 miles south of Salem. So this is away. This is far here. So now they're starting to realize that, oh, shit, this is by the I-5 freeway, .32 caliber bullets.
Yeah.
And Sherry, they said that, just like Beth and Sherry, 14-year-old Janelle, Jesus Christ, this is worse, though, because he made those girls do things to him while they were alive. He anally sodomized her post-mortem.
After she was shot 7 times.
After she was dead.
Oh, my God.
Not just shot, dead.
Why would he do that?
He's getting way
worse. Yeah.
Worse. I mean, before he just felt a tit, made a girl jerk him off, which is still terrible, but this is like, oh, I know, I got a whole fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in, I'm going to make them do all this shit. He's got a whole thing while I tie up the mom and probably make her watch for who the fuck knows. This is horrifying. There's no evidence that Donna Lee had been sexually abused, although her nightgown had been disarranged. Wow, that is insane. They say they think they'd been dead for about an hour before the 12-year-old came home because rigor hadn't even set in yet, or no lividity patterns either. Holy shit. They said that the girl must have basically just fucking missed him. The 12-year-old who came home, if she didn't go to her friend's house or if she came home a minute earlier, 10 minutes earlier.
She could be dead too.
If 8:30 was curfew, she's dead.
Oh, boy.
Which is fucked up. Wow. That's scary. They said, and the Mountain Gate case isn't the only one that seems to fit, they started to notice.
Yeah.
Because this went out on the wire and everybody saw it. They said a subject wearing a green jacket, jeans, gloves, and tennis shoes with tape over the bridge of his nose is wanted down here for questioning in a rape, kidnap, and sodomy case in Reading on February 3rd. They said we've got the one the next day in Wairika, and I found a Winchell's Donut robbery in Grants Pass, January 29th, and a robbery in a grocery store in Medford, same day, a motel robbery in Ashland on February 4th. This is all he does.
Yeah.
He like punches in for a shift.
Yeah,
this is like,
working.
8 hours,
Yeah.
8 hours of robbing and raping everybody. Let's get into this. This is crazy. One thing you hope for when you have like a serial rapist and murderer, you hope he's lazy.
Or that he's got something else to keep him
Other
busy.
shit, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got like some sort of commitments. He's got things. He's got a job. He's got
family.
school. He's got a family he's got to work with. Like BTK, if he didn't have all these responsibilities, he'd have killed 100 people.
He had so many jobs. If he wasn't so busy working to pay his mortgage, he'd be a problem.
Working and doing all the family things that had to keep his, facade. If he was just a single guy in a one bedroom, he'd have been fucking.
If he was just an over the road trucker, we would be in so much trouble.
So much trouble. So based on this down there, Kamenik tells this guy, I think we're looking for the same man. You guys down there and us up here. It looks as though a lot of jurisdictions are looking for this fucking guy at this point. So he stays in touch with the Shasta County Sheriff's deputies and detectives and would look through reports for more Band-Aid cases all over the region here. And there's a lot. They said that Shasta County was not the only department responding to the teletypes that Kamenik sent out either, asking for similar cases. They said he's getting shit from everywhere. All over the place. Usually if you get one hit on something, it's like, oh, there's something. But this is like, they're coming in from all over the place.
Yeah.
So, Jesus Christ, they said they're looking at the Donna Eckert and Janelle Jarvis case here, and they said now that we're looking at it, it looks like it wasn't the first hit on the third. They said it seemed crazy, but they said they found another case on February 3rd with an identical MO. Earlier in the same night, a woman and a teenager working at the Burger Express restaurant in Redding, California, suffered some shit here. Marie Sloan, who's 46 and the owner of the Burger Express, was in the kitchen, and Leah Morris, 18, was at the front counter when a man with dark, wavy hair walked in, over 6 feet tall, wearing a wool cap, windbreaker, faded jeans, and expensive jogging shoes. His hands were concealed by blue gloves with gray trim. Leah, the cashier there, looked up to take his order and saw that he was pointing a silver revolver at her.
Yeah.
He placed himself in a position where he could watch both women, and then he turned to the owner and said, "Sit down and you won't get hurt." So the owner instructed the girl working the register, get the money and give it to him.
Sure.
Don't, do this. Don't fucking
Yep.
be brave for my money here.
Yep, let's go.
So she did, and she handed him the money, and he told the owner to lead him with the 18-year-old into the bathroom.
Okay.
So she does, and he tells the shop owner, the 46-year-old, kneel down on top of the toilet. He taped her hands behind her back and then taped her ankles together. Then, when she was helpless, he taped her mouth shut with a big strip of tape, then turned to Leah and said, "Take your clothes off."
Oh, boy.
He's got an M.O. Not interested in the older one. I'll tie her up.
Yeah.
I like teenagers now all of a sudden because he's a weird stuck in teens.
Classy fella. Yeah.
He's all class, really, honestly. Gross. So while he was awaiting the girl taking off her clothes while she's doing it, he still fondled the owner's tits and everything, just for something to do to pass the time. He waited for Leah. Then he ordered the owner to get off the toilet and face the door. Yeah. She said she couldn't move, so he helped her to the floor and warned her to keep her face toward the door. So this isn't a bathroom. It's small. Yeah. Then he turned to Leah with her sobbing, and he forced her to give him a blowjob. He did not ejaculate. Yeah. He pushed her to the floor face down and attempted to anally rape her.
Right.
And he wasn't satisfied with how that was going.
Yeah.
So then he said, "Back to oral sex, please."
Oh, Jesus.
And finally he finished here. Wow. He got his clothes back on. They thought he was going to shoot them.
Yeah.
But at that moment, the owner's husband stopped by to check on her.
Oh?
She heard him outside the bathroom door pushing against it.
Wow.
While Randy, with the gun, is saying, "It's busy. Like, I'm in here. Yeah. Someone's in here." He then opened the door and held the gun on the husband.
Okay.
Forcing him into the bathroom. He didn't shoot them. He just ran away.
Really?
At that point. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. They could hear him running away. This is crazy. Leah was taken to the hospital, and they lost $230 out of the register.
Right.
And then within the next hour, somebody shot and killed the Eckards there. By the way, less than 10 miles away.
Oh, my God.
He didn't get all of his raping in.
Yeah.
Wow. He's like, "I wanted to rape and kill. I only got half of that accomplished. I'm going to go do it again."
Right.
So that is insane. The identical thing happened in Wairika, California on February 4th, the next day.
Really?
The next fucking day. This is crazy. 70 miles north on the I-5, the other side of the Shasta National Forest, about 20 miles south of the Oregon border. Yeah. This is about 24 hours after Donna and Janelle had been shot to death. This is Jessie Clovis, a 21-year-old here.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus Christ. 21 years old. She got in her Maverick. Remember those cars?
Ford Maverick.
Oh, yeah. After buying cigarettes at the liquor store at the North. That's such a 70s sentence. I got in my Maverick to go buy cigarettes from a liquor store.
They're making it again. It looks like a
wow.
Like an El Camino. The new one sucks.
It's ugly as fuck.
Yeah.
The only thing that could make that more 70s is like if she said she was going to fucking, puff out her pubes after that. Really.
Tie-dye her bell bottom.
Really throw them up there. Like, that is the most 70s. Or I'm going to get on my CB on the way to talk to people, Yeah. She was about to start the engine when a man who looked like he was in his mid-20s opened the driver's side door.
Okay.
She saw a dark-haired man who wore a green down jacket. He said, "Move over, I've got a gun."
Okay.
And then he said, "Don't look at my face," as she moved over. She stared at the gun. It was a small silver revolver with white grips, and she was like, "Fuck, this is not good."
Yeah.
She slid her eyes sideways, she said, and she could see he was wearing blue jeans and running shoes, and she could see he had on sports gloves, a watch cap, like a wool cap there, and a wide swath of tape covering the bridge of his nose. He didn't see her see him.
Oh.
She caught a glance while he was looking at whatever the fuck he was looking at. So he adjusted the seat, because he's 6'2", started the engine and backed the car out, made a right turn onto North Main Street and headed toward Highway 263. She said, "May I have a cigarette?"
Uh-huh.
He said, "No, and don't look at my face."
Okay.
I don't understand why I can't smoke in my own car. How about that? Listen. Listen, guy.
It's not hot.
I don't know what you're after here, but this is my fucking car.
I'm going to be smoking in my car.
No shit. So he said, "Do you have any money?" And she said, "A $20 bill.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Is it in your purse? Get it for me." So she got the bill out and asked if he wanted the change too. And he said, "No, you can keep that."
Okay.
So he also wanted to know, he just drives with her and starts asking her the history of her sex life.
Oh?
Yeah. He wants to know, do you fuck? Have you fucked before?
Yeah.
How many men have you fucked?
Worry about
She
you.
said she didn't know.
Atta girl. She's doing it.
He said ballpark. How about that?
What's your body count? Fuck if I know.
Fuck it. Then she finally started sobbing and said 2.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't have a body count. She just didn't want to tell him because
Yeah.
she's embarrassed because she's a young girl who's shy and only had sex with 2 guys even though she's 20. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's shy. So she takes it slow. So she began to cry. He said, "Stop crying. I'm not going to hurt you."
Okay.
He ordered her to lie down across the seat so that her head was in his lap.
Oh, boy.
She had to brace herself with her hand on the dashboard to keep from falling onto the floor. He asked her if she'd ever given oral sex before, and she said no. He told her to unzip his pants. She's sobbing. He's getting madder and mad. Crying just makes him mad.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not hot to him.
He wants to pretend that this chick is into it.
She wants it. He wants her to like it.
He wants her to like, look at my dick. Isn't it great?
That's crazy.
Everyone loves my dick. I'm doing you a favor. So if they're sobbing, then it's like, you're ruining the whole thing.
Oh,
Whereas
Jesus.
some rapists enjoy the crying.
Yeah.
That's part of what they get off on. This is
Right.
different. He wants this to be like a fantasy.
He wants her to want it.
Yeah, it's every girl wants my dick. That's his thing. Again, please don't isolate that. So, it's fucking weird. So she's crying. He's mad.
Yeah.
He says, "Do what I say. You do. You understand that, don't you?" He then asked if he could touch her breasts,
Okay.
but continued to use what she called gutter language. But he was already fondling her while he was asking her, "Is it all right?" But he seemed to want approval. He wanted her to go, "Yes, that's fine.
Yes,
okay, good.
I like
That's
it,
what he
please."
wants."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like the one girl that he dragged into the bathroom of I believe it was the church's chicken,
Right.
she just went along with everything immediately, and he
Yeah.
did his thing and got away because in his fantasy, he could
She enjoyed
act
it.
like
Yeah.
she enjoyed it. He knows that's impossible with like a 14-year-old or something.
True.
So that pisses him off,
Yeah.
and they probably cry.
Yeah.
He wanted her to tell him she was enjoying it.
Yeah.
He was squeezing until it hurt, though.
Oh,
but
God.
she was saying that she was saying what he wanted her to say. She was going along with it. So she lied and said, "Yeah, no, I like this.
Yeah.
This is great."
Having a good time.
So he said, "Do you let your boyfriend do this to you?" And she said, "No."
Oh,
And he said, "Why not?
it's only for you.
You should be putting out. What are you doing?" She said, "Because it's wrong."
Oh.
So she said he was silent for a minute
Yeah.
as they drove down the highway. He was considering this, but he's got plans. He ordered her to touch herself,
Yeah.
and she said she pretended to do so. Yeah, he can sort of half diddle down there.
Yeah.
Now he ordered her to give him a blowjob.
Yeah.
She said no. He grabbed her by the hair and bent her over himself
Yeah.
and stuck it in.
Made her do it. Yeah.
She gagged. He liked that.
Oh, God. Yeah,
He said, "I'm
so
bigger than your
big.
boyfriend,
Oh,
aren't I?"
knew it.
That's what he said.
Jesus.
Yeah. She said, "Sure, I guess so. Yeah, great."
You're fucking huge.
He normally doesn't ram it down my throat while
Right.
fucking holding my head hostage, though. That's the difference. I'm
God.
usually the one doing the. Wow. Then he gave her directions demanding that she do these things, do this, do that to me, do that to me. She said he's going to kill me if I don't do this. Finally, he ends up finishing in her mouth and hair.
Oh, God.
She said she was trying not to throw up at the time.
Right.
They're still going down the highway, by the way.
Wow.
He didn't pull over or anything. This is on the highway. So he promised her that there'd be more. He said that, again, touch yourself so you can be moist and ready for me. That's the words he used.
Yeah.
This is horrifying. He kept her pinned flat to the front seat of her car so that no passing cars could see her.
Yeah.
She felt his thigh muscles tense up as he put the brake on.
Oh, God.
And she heard him say, "Oops, got to turn around." So the car stopped and made a U-turn. She hoped they weren't going back toward Wairika here.
Right.
So it seemed to be 4 or 5 minutes before she felt the car slow down and pull off to the side of the road and stop.
Okay.
He said, take your pants off and your underwear and your shoes.
Oh, no.
It'll be hard to take your pants off without taking your shoes off. So that seems like an unnecessary instruction.
You're telling me what to do.
Wow. Now get in the back seat, but keep your head down and don't look at my face. This is a lot of instructions he's got. He told her to bend over so he could come from behind on her here. She obeyed, but then he was mad because he couldn't get his dick hard again. Because he just came 8 minutes ago. Yeah. It's not my fault you don't have a 12-minute refractory period. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
You need some more time here.
Yeah.
That's not my problem. So, he came around though after a minute.
Yeah.
And he said to her, "I could either come inside you or pull out and make you drink my cum.
Jesus.
It's up to you." So she said she couldn't bear the mouth again because that just happened. So she told him, "I guess just come inside me."
Yeah.
So the problem is he just wanted to find out which one she didn't want to do. And she told him.
Yeah.
So he demanded that she swallow it again.
Yeah.
Obviously, because she doesn't want to. So she started crying.
Yeah.
He told her to stop. That's, this ruins everything for him.
Right.
So he's ridiculous. So not ridiculous. He's a monster, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said that was
understatement.
We got understatement of the year.
This guy's a real pain in the ass.
Not a real good guy, this guy. I don't think he's a nice guy. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
I'd say he's absurd.
Wow. He said that was good, wasn't it? So she nodded yeah, okay. He said, "Now lie back down." Mm-hmm. She saw something in his hand and she thought, "Oh, fuck, he's going to shoot me now." But instead he held a roll of white tape. He showed her the tape and she saw that it was half gone. He taped her wrists together so that she couldn't move, and then he took a rag and wiped the seat clean of any fingerprints he might have left.
Sure.
He said, "Don't go to the police. If you do, I'll just say that you picked me up hitchhiking and you asked for it. They'll believe me."
Yeah.
He said, "They'll believe me. That would be an embarrassment for you."
Okay.
Wow. So she lay on the rear seat of the car as he climbed back in the front seat, started the car, and headed back toward Wairika. She finally asked, "Why did you do this to me?"
Yeah.
Which I'd love to know the answer to
What the
this.
hell, man?
His answer, quote, "Because all women are alike. They only give you pussy when they want it. My girlfriend was a waitress and fooled around behind my back. She attracted a lot of men, and that made me jealous. I'm a very jealous guy."
What?
My girlfriend was shitty to me. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah, because
They only give you pussy when they want it.
Because somebody didn't want to give me pussy, I took it from you.
Well, he wanted to give it to somebody else, though.
Right.
They wanted to. So, wow. So that's what's going on here, he says. Now, so she tried to keep him talking so he wouldn't stop the car and rape her again. Yeah. So she said, "Well, why did she do that to you?" And he said, "Because she was a bitch. She only put out when she wanted to, like you. You should give it to your boyfriend all the time."
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Say you're being a fucking prude with your boyfriend, not letting him feel up your tits like you should. That's what he said. This is crazy.
Often. Oh.
She moved slightly to relieve the pressure on her wrists and shoulders, and he said, "Don't move." She said, "Are you going to kill me now?" And he laughed and said, "No, I'm not that kind of guy. You think I'm that kind of guy?"
Oh, boy. Kind of, yeah.
She said, no, of course not. No, you seem great from
You're
what I've...
You're a real darling.
Wow. She asked what he was going to do with her, and he said that he would drop her off in front of the store. She asked for her clothes so that she wouldn't be left naked in the streets of Wairika, but he said no, saying that you're going to try to get away if I give you your clothes.
Yeah.
Then she said she could see street lights through the car windows, felt the car stopped. He explained that he stopped between some parked cars so that no one could see her.
Okay.
He said, okay, now don't report this to the police. I won't, she said. And then he reached back and grabbed her tit again and shook it.
As if that's an agreement? Like we just spit in each other's
shook hands. He shook it. And then he took off.
Wow.
She sat up and saw him disappearing toward the Sambo's restaurant by the I-5. Yes, that was a real restaurant chain.
Sambo's.
Yeah. She struggled to get the tape off her wrists. It took her 15 minutes to free herself.
Yeah.
She dressed herself and drove herself home. She called the police department. She described him as 25 to 30, 6 feet tall, 175, brown hair, short beard and mustache, taper, Band-Aid over his nose, blue watch cap, green jacket, blue jeans, white tennis shoes, nickel-plated revolver, 4 to 6 inch barrel. We all know the description.
A complete piece of shit.
And wow, what a scumbag.
Keep an eye out for that.
Also, real butthurt over a girlfriend. So keep an eye out for that shit. Imagine if he was alive, not alive, but imagine if he was like free in the world now.
Oh, boy.
He would have found so many groups to just be a little incel in, and my girlfriend was mean to me, so fuck women.
So many friends. Yeah.
So many people think just being scummy with him. So, okay. Let's head back in time a little bit here, back to December. Now, Shelley Jansen.
Yeah.
Okay. She is spending the Christmas holiday at her father's house in Eugene. She's home from college in New Mexico.
Sure.
On December 30th, she was 4 days away from being 22. She's smart. She has a 4.0 GPA at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque.
Nice.
She's also known as very beautiful. But she said everybody says she's very naive.
Naive?
She's looking for like the perfect guy, that kind of thing. Yeah. So she thought at some point the perfect man would come along and she's going to recognize him the moment she saw him.
Yeah.
Like a fairy tale movie.
Yeah.
You know, there he is and music plays and then we're happy forever. That's what she thought.
Yep.
That's it. In 1980, she's thinking that. 1980, 81, which you're well late on that shit. So she said it's going to be, she wants a tall, dark, soft-spoken, sensitive man. That's what she's looking for.
Sure.
She said, well, I know it. It's all going to be perfect. It's going to be great. So on the night of December 30th, 1980, she went to O'Callahan's, which is too Irish of a name even for a bar. O'Callahan's? Jesus Christ. You might as well be O'McCallahan's. That's just too much. In Eugene, she went there with a girlfriend to check out if there's going to be New Year's Eve parties the next night. It's a social area. They're all, see if anybody's having anything going on. So she and her friend had stood on the edge of the dance floor for about 5 or 10 minutes when here comes a handsome guy with curly dark hair.
Oh, boy.
Now, this is by the month and a half before he's done all this horrible shit. He said, excuse me.
Did you fart?
I think, what'd you do? You want? Okay. I got to tell you a quick story.
I can't wait.
I was just talking to my father. I had hanging out with him and over at his house. He had a little gathering. We were talking all this shit. He tells me a story about when he was in first grade. He got in trouble because I was telling the story about how my grandfather during a fire drill walked across the street in his barber outfit and told the teacher in front of the entire school that you hit him if you need it to. Really, give him a good smack if he needs that son of a bitch.
Smack that Jimmy P. Smack that kid whose last name you can't say. If you get frustrated by his last name, give him a good smack.
Give him a good smack. So the early 80s, that was not considered good anymore for whatever. But when my dad went to school, that was fine.
Yeah.
So my dad said, well, he told all the teachers that with me, and they did. They were serious. They fucking took him up on it. He said particularly this guy who he ended up liking, and it was his favorite teacher, but he gave him a smack because the lunch person that came in to take them to lunch or something said, please excuse Mrs. So-and-so. And he said, at 6 years old, what'd she do, fart? So I just wanted to tell you, not only... When I say your first thought isn't the comedian's joke? No. Third thought, Jimmy. Third thought. It's just the third one. Skip those first two. Because you're going to have dad joke, then something that's not funny. Then the third one is that's your comedian mind working. You often just, first knock on the door, you open it and you go, come on in.
Come on in, invasive thought.
Invasive thought. That got the shit beat out of my dad when he was 6 in school.
Unbelievable.
So we do know that joke is at least 65 years old. That we do know.
I'm very well aware of that.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's fucking hilarious
because my uncle said it to me when I was 2, 4.
It popped in my head for some reason.
It'll never leave me.
Dude, that's why when you said it, I had to die laughing because he just said it and I was laughing out on his back porch at that joke because I also have the sense of humor of a fucking 7-year-old. So I laughed and then I laughed again when you said it like an idiot. So it's so fucking funny. Oh, Christ, man. I don't even know where fuck
were we?
Oh, yeah, we were.
Somebody's in trouble.
Excuse me. And they said, don't worry about it. Waved their hands under their noses and walked away.
Yeah.
Gave the PU and fucking. Okay. So he said, I think I left my drink on the ledge behind you. Mm-hmm. Shelley turned around, saw a guy who was like, that's him. That's the white knight I've been looking for. Tall, dark, handsome. He's the one.
Wow.
She was afraid he would go away, so she started talking to him.
No.
So she'd stay. Oh, yeah. And he was responding.
Yeah.
She was happy. His name was Randall.
He's shopping.
He's from Portland, but he's planning to move to Eugene. He just turned 30, and she laughed, saying, oh, you only look about 25. Right. She said, bullshit, let me see your driver's license. And then she said, oh, wow, he was born in 1950. She said, I'm a Capricorn, too. Uh-huh. I'll be 22 this Saturday. Oh, we have something in common. Yeah. And they giggled, and because in 1980, that was considered something in common.
That's a big deal, yeah.
So he explained that he planned to attend the University of Oregon in the spring and that he'd been taking courses at Lane Community College in the interim.
Yeah.
He wanted to complete 2 degrees, one in business and one in health and physical education.
Wow.
So she's like, wow, that's impressive. And she also said that she was impressed because he said he was going to find a job bartending and save all his money for his education. So she's like, wow, he's a hard worker.
What a guy.
He sets goals. This is the kind of guy I'm looking for to be my guy. They danced 2 dances because they were talking so much. They didn't have time to dance. And it got deep, too, not just normal, bullshit, pickup line stuff. They talked about their futures, family, goals, morals. Usually, he does that immediately, and it scares girls off. But this is exactly what she's looking for.
Wow.
Remember, before they said he's in love with the girl 5 minutes into it. And they're like, "Whoa, calm down. This is what she's been looking for. This is some romance fairy tale shit." So this is perfect. She thought his voice was deep and soft, and he looked right into her eyes and told her about a woman in Medford who had refused him, and he said he just walked away. He said he'd never force himself on a woman who didn't want it.
No?
Didn't want him. Okay. So she felt a little jealous, even though that happened before him, but she was already jealous of him.
Wow.
But he said that he didn't care anything for the other women. Now, I only care about you now.
Right.
I'm talking to you.
You're it.
I mean, till I come, and then it's another story. But for now.
You don't know.
She said she had to go back to Albuquerque in 3 days and was very upset because we're perfect for each other. And Jesus Christ. And Randall was already suggesting we might want to get seriously involved. And she was like, yes, we might.
Wow.
She said, this is wild. She didn't know that this was just what he did.
Yeah.
This is every girl in every bar. This is how he comes on. She's just the most receptive to it. She's the most naive of anybody that they found that he's found here. So, she was falling in love with him. She was amazed. The bar closed, and her friend said, it's nice. Let's go, and whatever. Mm-hmm. And she turned to her friend Shelley and said, "It was nice to see you. That's great. I'm going to go leave here with him, though."
Him and I are going home because we got to talk about our future together.
I mean, we got a wedding at like 8:30 tomorrow morning. It's down at the.
We got to get a caterer tomorrow.
Justice of the Peace booked. He's got to get a tux. It's going to be a long night. So Randall walked Shelley to his car, and they stood out there talking until everybody else left, and they're just having all of that. Shelley said, "We were shocked to have those incredible feelings so quickly. We were shocked. They're already one.
He and I.
We just stood there talking about our feelings. Then they got into Randy's car, his champagne edition gold Volkswagen.
There it is.
He kissed her, and it felt just right to her," she said. "Oh, she didn't matter if she just met him. None of that was a concern. They talked and kissed, and finally she asked him to take her to her friend's house because she'd left her purse in her friend's car.
Yeah.
The plan was that he would then take her home to her father's house after she gets the purse.
Boy.
But, halfway to her dad's house, they mutually agreed that instead they'll go to his room at the New Oregon motel instead of going to her dad's house.
I'll find a place where I can
see you naked. He was very considerate of her, and he suggested it might be too soon for us to make love,
Yeah, it's
I don't want
not the best.
I don't want to ruin what we have.
Yeah.
He said, but, I don't want to. What we have here is almost a mystical connection. It's something that's just, it's beyond the heavens. It's beyond.
It's so deep.
Really, it's beyond a mere mortal man's comprehension of the universe and the heart together.
Nobody else here can feel this.
No, so instead, just blow me. That's what he said. It's too mystical. I don't want to fuck it up.
I am using that sometimes.
But definitely blow me. That's going to work. That is amazing.
That's one way to tell a woman, I am not going to make you come tonight.
Oh, no. But I'm planning on coming tonight.
I'm going to soak you.
She didn't realize that that's what he's into. He just wants to get blown anyway.
Yeah.
Or fuck somebody's ass or whatever.
Whatever. Something that you don't want.
Yeah, but they spend New Year's Eve visiting her family.
Really?
He told her that he had arranged a room to rent from a divorced woman who lived with her young son, and Shelley went with him to that home on East Street in Springfield, just east of Eugene, where Randall gave this woman a check for his first month's rent.
Okay.
Look at me. Shelley said she hated to spend New Year's Eve without Randall. I mean, they're an item.
They are together. They are one.
She still tastes him.
Yeah.
So, But he said that he had previous plans to meet friends in Portland and to go to a 40s costume party. Whoa.
What is a I guess like
1940s theme.
Wait, what 40s?
Like zoot suits and that kind of shit. That's for swing music. That's all 40s.
Is that 40s?
Yeah, that's 40s.
Okay.
That's all 40s shit. That's post-war 40 shit.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. All that shit.
People were happy then, I suppose.
Everybody's got to sing.
Yeah.
All that shit. So,
20s,
anyway.
You know what I mean?
You're thinking 20s of like Charleston? Okay.
Yeah, like people like fucking chicks in those dresses that fucking move like crazy.
Yeah, no, this is a little different. So, 40s costume party. She went to the party, but she thought about only Randy, man. Only Randy. New Year's Day 81, she called him at his sister's house in Portland and told him that a friend of hers was coming to Portland and that she could come along maybe.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, definitely. Picked her up, and then he picked her up and he took her out to TGI Fridays.
There you go.
Boom.
Big day.
Randall's sister was with their parents in Otter Rock, so they had another night together free.
Okay.
Shelley just didn't want to fly home the next day to New Mexico, though. She was just, it was too soon. She had to go back for school. She had a 4.0 average here, man, But she knew that her and Randy would be together again, and she wished that, oh, by the way, she forgot the stuffed panda bear that Randall had bought her. She forgot it in Oregon. She's very upset that she doesn't have that to snuggle with and think of Randy. Mm-hmm. She wrote to Randall constantly, just big pages long shit, romantic cards and all that. Her letters referred to how exciting he was, and she said that she was going to get into a physical fitness program so that she would be worthy of a man with so much athletic prowess.
Is that right?
I need to be just as in shape as you are.
Right.
She suggested plans that they would, that we're going to meet again. She worried that most men might think this was too much, that she's just, burying them in commitment, but not Randall.
No?
Randall's letters were just the same intensity as hers.
Wow.
Yes, I do want to do that. Yes, we are going to be together. She'd been dumped by guys before, I assume, for coming on like this.
Yeah, probably for the plans of weddings in the first night.
We're going to be together forever.
Yeah.
I don't know your last name.
I gotta
What are we
go.
talking about? I got to deliver another pizza, lady. I don't know what you're talking about. It's getting cold. I got a 30-minute guarantee I got to fulfill here. Wow. So that's what's going on. He keeps sending them back. She signed her letters, "Your lover always."
Oh, boy.
And each one more affectionate than the next. He called her all the time. He sent cards and letters too. Think about it. He does that when someone doesn't want anything to do with him.
Right.
He sends cards and letters and calls. Think about if somebody's returning it and reciprocating. Damn. Holy shit. He encouraged her commitment to him. She wrote that, "God, I'm so proud of you for wanting to work and put money away and go to school. And I'm always here for you. If you're discouraged, I'll talk to you. And, it's great." She said, "By the way, I love you," she wrote in one letter. "I feel so lucky to have you in my life. I hope you're always there with me. I've been looking for someone like you all my life, and now I found you. Thanks for walking into my life, Randall."
Oh, boy.
Whoa.
She is heavy.
On January 30th, 1981, mind you, that is 4 days before his little murder, rape, anal spree here. She flew to San Francisco to wait for Randall, who was driving down the coast to meet her. They spent 3 days together. That's the 3 days. He was done with that and was like, well, back to raping and murdering.
My word.
Okay, they spent their 3 days together. The first night at the Hilton next to the airport. Oh, the romance there. Oh, you can smell jet fuel. Open the windows and just take it all in.
You can feel the tension of the people next door who just got this room because their flight is so delayed.
And they're sleeping with a stranger in the same room because there's no more left. Then they went to a cheaper motel in San Bruno to spend Saturday and Sunday night. They called it their Love Boat Weekend.
God damn.
They went to Fisherman's Wharf in San Fran. They did the tourist shit down in Embarcadero and all that crap.
Oh,
and
boy.
Randall wanted to visit Alcatraz.
I'd
like to visit where I belong.
Guy's
I'd
a fucking tourist?
I'd like to go there. Wow. And then they toured the island prison. They did that. They were, just tourists. Two young people in love, holding hands.
Hitting Ghirardelli.
Eating a sundae from Ghirardelli's and fucking going down to, get the hot dogs from the little stands there and go to like Alioto's and get the fucking
get some fresh
the
fish.
Fresh half shells, some fresh half shell clams and shit. Man, this is interesting. They Shelley thought it was weird because the whole weekend they didn't have sex.
No,
it was
what
weird.
A gentleman.
No. She blew him all the time.
Oh, okay. It's a lot of blowjobs.
Oral sex all weekend. Yeah, that's not happening. But they didn't have actual sex, which she wanted. She wanted to be close to him.
Sure.
Like that. For a woman, guys don't really feel like this, but for a woman, it's a close thing a lot of times, especially one like this who's a romantic. Right. I mean, as soon as he enters her, she's going to have a fucking, like, music will swell and angels will fall and people, harps are going and cupids are firing arrows. That's her fantasy that she's built up. And instead, it's just in her mouth. It's a little different.
That's tough.
So, anyway, she thought maybe he just puts me on such a pedestal. If someone comes in your mouth, you can knock the pedestal thing right down. He's just
I assure you, there's no pedestal.
They're not just, they might put you on a pedestal, but they don't like respect you so much they don't want to befoul you. Like, that's not what it's about. They're coming in your mouth, which to me is way more intimate than sticking their dick in you, I think, right?
I assure you there's no pedestal if he is leaving it right in your fucking mouth.
No pedestal here. So, so she thought maybe he just feels like that's all that we should do till we're married. Once we get married, then we'll have intercourse so we can have children and a family.
We can't consummate it until there's a ring. That's all.
Yeah. And she's like, we will be married someday. There's no doubt about that. It's over, man. So on Saturday morning, Randall had told her everything. He told her that he'd been in prison and that he's on parole. She didn't know that before.
Oh.
He spilled it. He told her about his days with the Green Bay Packers and that he was so disappointed and hurt when it was over and he felt like a failure. And she was at first very shocked about his criminal record, but after a while, she was like, "That's from the past. It's not going to happen again. He's a different guy."
What are you going to do? Yeah.
Youthful indiscretions.
Everybody's
He was upset about
mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's upset about the Packers. Yeah. And then it happened. He proposed to her.
What?
Oh, yeah. He got down on one knee, he proposed to her, and she said, yes, 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 1,000 times. Yes.
Do it again. I'll say it again.
Oh, and then he said, now put this in your mouth. There we go. Okay. Put this on your finger and this in your mouth, sweetheart. Let's go. So she said, yes, they didn't set a date, but they discussed maybe a late summer wedding or a Christmas wedding. What do you think of a Christmas wedding?
I think it's hacky and stupid. Do it.
It's so stupid. Maybe we'll do. No. Valentine's Day, 1982.
What's
think
dumber?
About how romantic it would be. Oh, Randall called his friend Ralph in Los Angeles and asked him to be the best man and everything. Yeah, he called his parents in Otter Rock and told them, I'm engaged, guys. Mm-hmm. Whoa, what a perfect weekend. Shelley had to leave to fly back to New Mexico, but, she had to wind up her shit at the university and finish up. But this was the best weekend she could have ever have imagined and hoped for. She'd known Randall for a month, but now they're engaged. He took her to the plane, and he told her that he'd be driving back to Eugene up the I-5 freeway so he could stop off at his sister Susan's home in Mount Shasta to tell her the news about the wedding.
First person. I got to tell her.
I am going to... Wow.
That's
I'm dropping
why
you
he
off.
went up.
And he told her he was stopping there.
Wow.
And that's where he was stopping to rape.
What a scumbag.
And kill. He's a monster. This is fucking...
That's
he wanted
crazy.
to tell his sister about the wedding. Shelley was home in Albuquerque that evening. By that evening, February 2nd. Yeah. February 3rd is the attacks. Oh, my God. Randall called her collect at midnight and told her he was only an hour and a half away from his sister's house and he'd talk to her soon. When he hadn't called her again by Wednesday, the 4th, she tried to reach him in Eugene. He wasn't there. She was scared and thought maybe he was in a car accident. Yeah. She kept calling throughout the night and finally reached him Thursday morning. He said he had a nice time with his sister and her doctor husband and their children, which was true. He did stop. Yeah. He did stop that night and spend that night there in Mount Shasta. And then the next day he was robbing, raping, and killing in that same area.
Unbelievable.
So... he said that he did get a speeding ticket on the way home, he told her, and that he thought maybe I'll buy a radar detector. She didn't ask him why did it take you 2 days to get home.
Right.
She assumed that he spent the time with his sister. He didn't actually say that he had, but he seemed like that seemed about right. Yeah. So why not? After the San Francisco weekend, she didn't care about school anymore. All she could think about was life with Randall. Wow. Shelley would... He called her every other day, or she called him, but it wasn't enough. She couldn't bear the thought of him all alone up in Eugene, discouraged and, looking for a job. And then she's all lonely in New Mexico, pining for him. Then Randall sent her a dozen yellow roses on Valentine's Day, and she put them in a vase where she could look at them when she wrote to him. She said, I feel like I've just begun a very happy trail through life. Thanks. Yeah. So... By the way, he sent over a dozen Valentine's Days things to all sorts of different women.
Yeah.
All sorts of shit. He was thoughtful. He sent an arrangement of red roses and white carnations to his parents who were celebrating their 34th wedding anniversary. Wow. They got there in Reno, and then they were going to Tokyo after that. Wow. His mother was touched by the gesture. They'd been through a lot of grief with Randy, but it seems like he's turned the ship around and everything is fine. He's engaged to this wonderful young woman, and he's going to finish his college degree, and he's enrolled in bartending school. Wow. So everything's great. No one seemed to wonder how he could afford all these roses and all this type of shit. Really? He has no job. Somehow he did, though.
Nobody's asking questions.
Yep. By the end of February, Shelley missed him so much that she called him in tears, and they agreed they had to be together. She made plans to withdraw from school, and on February 24th, she's going to pack up her belongings and drive to Eugene.
Really?
Let's leave it.
Oh,
right there.
boy.
Let's leave it there.
She's about
she
to
is
learn
driving
some shit.
to marry a serial killer.
Yeah.
So that is some shit here.
My Christ.
I don't even know what to say about that. So there you go, everybody. Yeah. There is part 3 of Randall Woodfield. He's getting worse and worse.
Fascinating fella, isn't he?
He's so fascinating, and there's so much more to come. Like, it's not even
close.
We're not anywhere near done, and the way he fucks up and gets caught, too, is just brilliant. It's amazing. But we'll leave it off right there with Randall. Mm-hmm. Now, definitely what you should do if you like this show, if you like how all this series is going, you should get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. It helps so much. It really does. Whatever app you're on, it really just helps drive us up the charts there. You should also head over to shutupandgivememurder.com where you can get your merchandise, tickets to all your live shows for Small Town Murder and everything like that. So get in there. You also definitely want to follow on social media, Crime and Sports on whatever you want to follow on. Then, everybody, you'll want to get Patreon. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports is where you get all the bonus materials, and that is hundreds of bonus episodes. Anybody $5 a month, $5 a month or above. That's it. You get all the bonus materials, tons of Crime and Sports, Small Town Murder bonuses, hundreds of them to binge on as soon as you subscribe, and then new ones every other week. Not only do you get that, from now on, you're going to get Small Town Murder, Crime and Sports, and Your Stupid Opinions ad-free on Patreon as well. So you get the ad-free feed, you get the
bonus materials,
bonus episodes. That's what they're called. I'm like extra things. That's not what I'm looking for.
All the extra stuff.
You get bonus materials. You get all this for $5 a month, everybody. So do that. Sign up and enjoy the ad-free version of the show. Enjoy the bonus materials. And I would like to, at this point, open the floor up for Jimmy here to tell me about these wonderful people who have done just that, who have access to all this stuff, and who have never probably raped and murdered across the Pacific Northwest. Jimmy, hit me with that tremendous list right this fucking minute.
This week's executive producer, Gary Howard, Connie Smith, Hope Mowry, Vanara Boone, Povilas Basivius, Gina Terrace, Incus, and Inicus. I don't know.
Oh, all of them.
Larry Butterfass, Robert Wiley, and his pucker brush. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much for everything you do, and thanks for all the nice words about my father. It's been a rough week, and you guys are really fucking amazing. So thank you for everything.
You're very nice. That was nice to see.
Supportive, helpful, and I'm doing
nice
fine.
to see you guys supporting my dude here. I like it. So
other producers this week: Peyton Meadows, Tiffany Hoare, Tia Churchill, John DeLong, Carmel Cooper Fitzmaurice, Happy Hour in Midland, Texas. Kara Whitaker, Janice Hill, FP, Brandon Case, John Kokaris, Kelly Manty, Pizza Sauce, Blair Christensen, Lexi Tomlinson, Alyssa Mellinson, Andrew H., Kristen Leviti, Christina Nicholson, Ann Kirk.
Jack's kid.
What? Yeah.
Her wife.
Nicholson. Yeah.
Oh, Nicholson. Yeah, Nicholson. I thought you said that. Yeah. Then I was like, wait, did you say Nicholas?
No, it's Nicholson.
Either way, it's Jack. So
Christina,
it's
good for you. Jules with no last name. Jennifer Kuzawiski Stoner.
Hey.
I don't know if she is one or if that's a hyphenated name. Justine Weiss. Weiss, Cam with no last name, Joel Montgomery, Stepinski 3D, Valentina Kano, Ashley with no last name, Jessica W, Josu, I feel like I know how to pronounce that, and it's Josue.
Is it Joe Boo?
I think it's Josue.
Major League?
I think it's Josue. Okay. 2 S's UE. Corrales, Amanda with no last name, Amy Caputo, Ellen with no last name, Cthulhu Dude, Cthulhu. I don't know how to say that word. What is it? Cthulhu?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what it is. You've seen it recently. CTHULU. It's that thing with like the fish beard. I don't know.
No fucking idea.
I don't know. It seems to be a trend.
I know it exists.
Yeah.
But that's about all I got.
It doesn't really. But yeah.
I know the word exists.
Yeah. Anita Shavarage. Yeah. Shaviriga. Garrett Richardson, Brandon Hansey, Hayden Six, Vicky Soy, Sui, Amber Ichili, Stephanie with no last name, Karen Theraldson, Unity FC Soccer Club, Unity Football Club. I don't know if that's a big football club
team?
or if it's like a little one and it's like a club soccer. I don't know. But Unity, they like us. Amber Ward, yup. Amy Adams, probably not the actress. It might be. You don't know.
Might be. You don't know.
Jamie
She's
Carter.
got money to burn. She can throw $5 our way.
Yeah.
Come on, Amy Adams. What are you waiting for, you lazy bitch?
June Carter's daughter, Jamie. Mary with no last name. Brooke Lang. Mutt's kid, obviously. Mercedes Lapanic. Barbara Higgins, Clayton Love, Karen Guinness.
I want our listeners to make it so their life's goal to make Amy Adams subscribe to our Patreon just for the humor of it.
Every day.
I'm sorry.
Write her all kinds of letters. You have to send these people $5 because they want
just $5. What's the big deal?
Kristen, Amy, Margot with no last name, Lori Andrews, Jarrett Hayes, Dustin with no last name, not Hayes. All right. Naomi Windsor, Calder Moe, right. Kelsey Rogers, Becky with no last name, Morgan with no last name, Carrie with no last name, Morgan Russo, Morgan. Do I know? I know her.
Morgan.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Christine.
Okay, good. Thanks,
Howroyd. Whew, too close. Adela Castro. Alicia Williams, Adam Johnson, Marie Tingle, Tracy Bell, Emily Conrado, Livy Alexandra Weber, perhaps, Robert Gibson, Elizabeth Gatesy, Tanner Hill, Christopher Larson.
Half of the Rock and Roll Express.
Yes. Sam Richardson, Olivia Wood, Rebecca Trucci, Sammy Weir. I know that guy. That guy has a sick Corvette, matter of fact.
Well, good for you, Sammy. Thank you.
He's an older guy, and he
likes us.
Thank
you for shooting some of that
amazing.
Corvette money this way. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sammy. Aaron S., Jennifer Klotz, Tate Clausen, Natalie Rabayo, perhaps, Lexi with no last name, Luke Bartley, Larissa Kelpin, Jeremy Newman, Cindy L., Chris Larkham, G. Spotty. Wow. Jesse Dobler, Rebecca Worth, Dylan with a Y, Bex with, what is this? Bex the Foley? I don't know what that means. BK like Mo Lester. No.
Oh,
that's not real. Stephanie O'Regan, Amy Segui, Shanna with no last name, Mallory Rumzek, TJ Allen, Peta Karate. And it's not spelled that way. That's pretty amazing. That's the coolest last name ever. Alexandra Boland, Seth Hawkins, Cassidy with no last name, Nicole Bingham, Anya Smith, Aaron Easter, Riss Avery, Amanda Postel, Kay Sully, Allie Bennett, Haywood Jablomi, also probably not a real person. Michael with no last name.
Not sure. We'll see.
Don Jacoby Becerra with no last name. Anna Louisa Abdallah. Ryan Radmer got 2 patrons. Thank you so much.
Whoa, thank you.
Who are you? I imagine that's to be sung. There are several ways. The Who can do one. And also, I think, AC/DC was Who Made You. Aaron Reese, Caitlin Doherty, Trista Bass or Bass, Elizabeth with no last name, Jared Reddy or Reedy, Melissa Nicole H., Eugene Duffy, Angela L. LCPL Wenslick. What's an LCPL? Is that a nurse of some sort? License.
Sounds like it.
Corporal punishment.
Practical lentil distributor.
Lentils are delicious. I don't know. Savannah Malloy, Brandon Jones, Dale Tweeton, Tanya Hartwich, Jennifer Childers, it's probably Childers, Kristen Champ, Jedi's mom, Bill Badass, like Billy Badass, got it. Jonathan Ray, Stephanie Chadden, Ginger Mills, Alicia iPad Pro, I think that she did that from her iPad Pro. David Adams, Athena, got a lot of tits. Olivia Sheridan, Rimini Brickett, that's not real.
Wow.
Raymond LaRose, Christy McHale, Amanda Newman, Katie Kavanaugh, Johnny Bosco. Okay. Amanda Gone, Sierra Robinson, Ginny Yancey, maybe Guinea. It's probably Ginny. I don't think it's Guinea. Kathy Sellers Martinez, Average Joe, Harold McCleskey, Claire with no last name, and anybody that patrons this show, you're the best. Thank you.
Yes, and before we go back, just also anybody that was missed in there.
Oh, there's
we'll
so many more.
We'll get to you.
So
I know
many
that
more.
this isn't all of them because we, did a whole new thing with Patreon, so more people signed up. So you'll get just, in the next couple weeks, it'll be in there. Don't you worry about that.
There's a whole bunch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing that, by the way. So thank you, everybody, from the bottom of our fucking hearts, from what you do for us to what you want to do for us. Just thank you for all that you do for us. And I would like to also say thank you to everybody. A lot of people upped their donations.
Yes.
Because they were like, amazing. $5 isn't enough. Now I was happy paying $5 for what I got. Now I'm getting all this other shit. I should give you 10. So you don't have to do that, obviously. But anybody who wants to, you're more than welcome to. This is a job that we do here for money. So we are willing to accept it. But thank you for doing that. We just appreciate that you give a shit enough to even care and not just say, good deal, fuck them. Right. Thank you. Thanks for all you do. You want to follow us on social media, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Everything you want about the shows is there. Drop-down menus will take you anywhere you want to go. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.